Cezaevlerindeki bazı teröristler etkileri altına aldıkları gençleri ölüm orucuna sürükleyerek F tipine geçişi engellemeye uğraşmaktadırlar.
Gençlerimiz onların eline düşmüştür. Devlet şimdi gençlerimizi kurtarmak istemektedir. Böyle bir şey olamaz, devlet böyle bir şey yapamaz, devlet oraya hayat kurtarmak için girmiştir.
Silahlı mücadeleye mecbur kalınmaması için haftalardır büyük sabır gösteriyor.
Altı kişi diri diri yaktılar. Diri diri yaktılar. 6 bayan yakılarak öldürüldü.
Kalleşçe bizi öldürdüler. Onlar canlılar.
Tecrit ölümdür, kabul etmiyoruz diyerek ölümü yere serenlerin faşizme karşı direniş meşalesinin aydınlığıdır 19-22 Aralık 2000 tarihi. 19 Aralık 2000 sabahı Türkiye hapishaneler saldırısıyla güne başladı. 20 hapishanede aynı anda daha sabahın ilk saatlerinde Hayata Dönüş isimli katliam başlatıldı. Adına Hayata Dönüş dediler ve katlettiler. Diri diri yakarak katlettiler. Diri diri yaktılar. 28 devrimci katledildi. Merhaba Zafer, hoş geldin ölüm diyerek karşıladı onlar ölümü. 19 Aralık saldırısı AKP ile sürüyor. Direniş bayrağı bugün de bizim ellerimizde. Tutuşan bedenlerimizle yazılıyor tarih. Tutuşan bedenlerimizle yırtıyoruz zulmün karanlığını. Tutuşan bedenlerimiz Türkiye gerçeğini aydınlatıyor. Tutuşan bedenlerimiz öğretiyor dünyanın Türkiye'sindeki mücadele gerçeğini. 19 Aralık bu tarih Türkiye tarihinin dönüm noktalarından biri olarak anılacak hep. Emperyalizm ve oligarşi ya ölüm ya düşünce değişikliği dedi. Ölümle teslim almaya çalıştı devrimciliği. Ölümlerimizle meydan okuduk emperyalizme ve işbirlikçisi oligarşiye. Ya öleceğiz ya düşüncelerimizle yaşayacağız dedik.
Hello comrades, hello viewers. We are really thankful that you are seeing our conference, and also for we're very thankful for our great participations. We're really want to make this conference today. We try to make it on 1 week before of the day of 19th of December, but because of some technical problems it can suddenly cannot happen. So we are here, we still be all together to commemorate the big massacre of 19 until 22 of December of 2000 in Turkish prison, and also to gather all the organizations and the people who fight for political prisoners and against the isolation all over the world. We believe that this day is the very important day because such as this massacre have never again happened in prisons all over the world. As you saw in the video, It's explained very good how was the situation those days in Turkish prison. Why the Turkish state, the fascist Turkish state, make this big operation with army and with police against the revolutionary prisoners that they fight against the isolation cells of F-type that they want to make in Turkey with the death fast resistance. Death fast resistance is a weapon in the hands of the revolutionary prisoners. Today, as we speak, also in Turkey, start a new death fast resistance for Sibel Balat, the revolutionary prisoner, a fired teacher that she is unlawful inside the prison, and start this meaningful day of 19th of December 2021, a new death fast resistance against injustice and unlawfulness that exists in Turkey. Also, for supporting of demands of Sibel Balat, start also one revolutionary prisoner, social revolutionary prisoner, Gökhan Yıldırım, hunger strike to support the demands of Sibel Balat. He started in Tekirdağ prison, F-type, in 23 of December, this solidarity hunger strike. We will tell the demands of this fast. The generally is the meaning of the injustice and unlawfulness. Specifically, the demands is 7. First, put the end to the economic, social, and political pressures of the people. Second, end the prosecution of revolutionaries with anonymous witnesses. Third, let the prisoners be given books and publication unconditionally. Fourth, let the sick prisoners be released. Fifth, the right to chat, which was accepted by the Ministry of Justice with the circular number 45/1, should be fully implemented. Sixth, disciplinary penalties should be abolished with all their consequences. Seventh, it is the revolutionaries, not the state, that fight against drugs. The drug dealers and the AKP ministers who support them and collaborate should be arrested. This is the demands of the death fast resistance that started in Turkey in 19th of December of 2021. We tell also from here to all over the world that we support the demands of Sibel Balat and must be immediately be accepted for the fascist state of AKP. Also, the solidarity of Gökhan Yıldırım is very important, and we send all the greetings to them and fight by their side, because this death fast resistance take the meaning of the one death fast resistance before, the resistance of Helin, Ibrahim Gökçek, Mustafa Kocak, and everything take, because all this death fast resistance it's against injustice and unlawfulness. The voice of Group Europe were all over the world with this death fast resistance. The voice of people's lawyer, everything take were all over the world. The voice of revolutionary prisoner Mustafa Kocak were all over the world. What is the total meaning of that? We want justice. We want to make our concerts. We want to don't take penalties with secret witnesses. We want really freedom for the people of Anatolia and the whole over the world. So, we will tell some things about the death fast resistance of 2000 that spent 7 years, 2000 until 2007, and also many of our comrades, also witnesses of the big massacre, will explain for sure all the circumstances that they lived, and also all the other committees will give the solidarity meaning, and this is a great opportunity to extend the international solidarity, to give a fight all together and just isolation and injustice that backed by imperialism and fascism, because imperialism and fascism make prisons and isolate the prisoners to don't fight all together, because as outside of the prisons they won't separate the people of the world. We gather here the people to tell that we are right and we will win. We will never surrender. This was the meaning also of the death fast resistance. As we saw in the video, in the operation of 19th of December, the Turkish state, Turkish fascist state, used so many army and police to attack to the political prisoners. Many bullets thrown to the prisoners. Also, the prisoners really they throw gases to the prisoners, and also in Barabasa prison 6 of women of our comrades martyred because the fire that they give by gas and real fire. 838,335 soldiers, thousands of guards and thousands of police riot attended to this operation, and more than 20 prisons in Turkey. The general commander give this direction for sure down of the central politic government of those times of Turkey, because it was an operation called Return to Life. They tell that this operation is Return to Life because the prisoners give this heroic steadfast resistance. They tell that they return to life and really massacred 28 political prisoners inside the Turkish prison. This is what never will be forgettable. 6 women of Barambasa prison that burned alive will never accept and forget them. Also, all the political prisoners that they felt martyrs. This heroic resistance of 2000-2007 continue after also in F-type cells. That F-type cells, it was baked by fascist state and also imperialism, because we have shown until then also other countries like the United States of Germany, like the British that made for Ireland, also in Uruguay, also in Spain, also in many countries, also in Italy, make these isolation cells imperialism. After AKP fascism, those time of fascism of Turkey, this government make the same. The resistance continue inside of prison, F-type cells, and also outside in neighborhoods of Turkey. The people stand 7 years with their fast resistance. In all this resistance, 122 martyrs felt in this heroic resistance that spread to hell over the world. In many countries, make so many solidarity actions. This was a barricade. Those comrades, those martyrs, put as a barricade against isolation their body. Also, in Umrani prison, Ahmet Ibili, one comrade, give this big sentence that I will give my life, I will never surrender, I will give my life for our people, for our comrade, and fell direct when they started the operation. This was the meaning of the barricades of the bodies. This was the meaning of the really collective point of view inside the prisons. Also, our speakers will tell this. So we give the floor really to the people, to our comrades that they live in those prisons. We have people that it was prisoners at the time in different prisons of Turkey. We will start our conference with a video that is a voice message from Shadnaju's political prisoners of those time in Bayrabasa prison, there that they burned alive the women. He sent us a voice message because he is still prisoner, political prisoner now in Greece, here in Greece. He sent his message because he cannot participate in other way with a voice record. He will explain first about the situation in Barabasa. We will tell one more that we will never forget the massacre of political prisoners in Turkey. The 19th of December is International Day to remember all the political prisoners. It's an opportunity to gather. Thank you very much. We hope to enjoy our conference. We will start for the political prisoner Shadnaju's Polat video.
Merhaba, ben Şadi Özpolat, Sirikale Hapishanesi'nden arıyorum. 19 Aralık katliamına ilişkin konuşmak istiyorum. 19 Aralık 2000 tarihinde, 19 ve 22 Aralık 2000 tarihlerinde Türkiye'de 20 hapishaneye birden yapılan operasyonda 28 devrimci tutsak katledildi. Ve onlarca devrimci tutsak yaralandı. Ne vardı yaşanan sorun olarak? Türkiye hapishanelerinde F tipi hapishanesi uygulamasına geçilmek istendi. Bu dayatmayla devrimci tutsakların üzerine gelindi. Devrimci tutsaklar F tipi hapishanelere atılacaktı. Ve burada devrimci tutsakların teslim alma politikası gündeme getiriliyordu. F tipi hapishanelerin özelliği hücre tipi hapishane olmasıydı. Tecrit tehdit ve izolasyon ve işkenceyle devrimci tutsakların teslim alınması politikası vardı. Buna karşı başlatılmış bir ölüm orucu direnişi vardı. Devlet ölüm orucu direnişinin dışarıda halkta yarattığı etkiyi kırmak için 19 ve 22 Aralık tarihleri arasında büyük bir katliam gerçekleştirdi. Biz de şimdi o katliamın 20 yıl dönümünü yaşıyoruz bugün. Bu katliam neden gerçekleştirildi? Şöyle diyelim, bugünkü sohbetimizde bu katliamın üç tarafının verdiği mesajlar üzerine sohbet etmek istiyorum ben. Nasıl bir üç taraf vardı? Bir tarafı, bir cepheyi emperyalizm ve Türkiye oligarşisi, Türkiye faşizmi oluşturuyordu. Bu katliam yapan taraftı. Emperyalizmin Sovyetler Birliği'ni 1990'lı yıllarda Sovyetler Birliği ve diğer sosyalist ülkelerde karşı devrimleri gerçekleştirdikten sonra dünya halklarına vermek istediği mesaj şuydu: benim düzenime boyun eğeceksiniz, herkes biat edecek, kapitalist sistemin alternatifi yoktur, sosyalizm kapitalizmin alternatifi değildir. Bunun üzerine pek çok propaganda ve teoriler geliştirdiler. Artık dünyanın sonu geldi dediler. Kapitalist sistem alternatifsizdir dediler. Alternatif olarak kapitalist sistemin alternatifini hala savunan, emperyalizme ve kapitalizme karşı, faşizme karşı mücadeleyi, savaşı hala savunan ve bunu pratiğiyle gösteren devrimcileri Türkiye hapishanelerinde teslim almak, katlederek, işkenceyle ve tecritle teslim alarak dünya halklarına bu mesajı daha güçlü vermek istediler. Emperyalizmin ve faşizmin mesajı buydu. İkinci bir mesaj, bu saldırı politikasının karşısında Kürt milliyetçiliği ve Türkiye'deki oportunist örgütlerden gelen mesajdı. Temeli direnmeyen, bu politikanın karşısında boyun eğen bir mesajdı. Ya da direniyormuş gibi yaparak esasında direnmeyen tavırlardı. Yani özü emperyalizmin dünya hakimiyetinde boyun eğiyoruz ya da bu sistemin uyumlu bir parçası olacağız mesajı taşıyan bir tavırdı. Fetip hapishanelere direnmeden boyun eğen ya da kabul eden bir tavır olarak ortaya çıktı. Üçüncü tavır ise Türkiye'nin Marksist Hareketi, Devrimci Halk Kurtuluş Partisi cephesi davası tutsaklarının tavrıydı. Uzun süre bu saldırının politik değerlendirmesi yapıldı ve nasıl bir cevap verileceği tartışıldı. Ölüm orucu direnişi bunun üzerine geliştirildi. Hapishanelere yönelik herhangi bir fiili saldırı olduğunda da bu fiili saldırı karşısında fiili bir tavırla direniş örgütlenecek. Yani kendi ayaklarımızla Fetip hapishanelere gitmeyeceğiz ve Fetip hapishanelere zorla götürülürsek de Fetip hapishaneleri kabul etmeyeceğiz. Ölüm orucu direnişiyle tüm halkı kapsayan genişlikte bir direniş barikatı örerek bu saldırıyı boşa çıkartacağız tavrıydı. Esas olarak peki bu tavrın politik anlamı neydi? Devrimci Halk Kurtuluş Partisi cephesi tutsaklarının emperyalizmin bu saldırısına karşı verdikleri cevap şuydu: emperyalist sistem dünyanın tek hakimi değildir. Sınıflar mücadelesi bitmemiştir. Bu hapishanelere yönelik saldırı da bu sınıflar mücadelesinin bir parçasıdır. Ve biz de Türkiye halkları ve dünya halklarının kurtuluşunun temsilcisi devrimciler olarak bu saldırıyı ölümlerimiz pahasına boşa çıkartacağız. Esas olarak Marksist ideolojiyi sürdüreceğiz, yaşatacağız ve savaşı sürdürme mesajını halka taşıyacağız. Dünya halklarına ve başta Türkiye halkı olmak üzere dünya halklarına verdiğimiz mesaj, hayır, emperyalizm dünya halklarını teslim alamamıştır. Tek bir yerde bile olsa emperyalizme karşı direnen, ölümüne sosyalizmi savunan, Marksizmi, Leninizmi savunan, halkların kurtuluşunu savunan, bunun için canını feda eden insanlar var. Bunlar bugün Türkiye hapishanelerinde ve Türkiye'nin pek çok yerinde savaşarak, mücadele ederek bunu gösteriyorlar, bedel ödüyorlar. Ve direnen tek bir insanın bile olduğu yerde halklar teslim alınamayacaktır ve emperyalizme karşı savaş sürecektir. Dünya halklarına ve Anadolu halkına Devrimci Halk Kurtuluş Partisi cephesi tutsaklarının verdiği mesaj da buydu. Peki bugüne gelip baktığımızda bu mesaj, bu üç tavırdan nasıl bir sonuç çıkartabiliriz? Bugün çok net olarak şunu söyleyebiliriz ki emperyalizm ve faşizm kendi politikasında sonuç alamamıştır, başarıya ulaşamamıştır. Türkiye ve dünyada bugün halklar yine direnmeye devam ediyorlar. Orta Doğu'da Suriye bunun çok somut bir örneği oldu. Emperyalizmin saldırılarına boyun eğmediler. Bugün Latin Amerika'sından Filipinlerine, Asya ülkelerine kadar dünya halkları, Fransa'dan İngiltere'ye kadar dünya halkları ayağa kalkıyor ve Amerika'ya kadar dünya halkları ayağa kalkıyor ve emperyalizmin, faşizm politikalarına karşı direnişi sürdürüyorlar. Demek ki o gün Devrimci Halk Kurtuluş Partisi cephesi tuzaklarının tespitleri doğruydu ve dünya halklarına verdikleri mesaj doğruydu ve bu mesaj yayıldı. Halklar teslim alınamaz. Emperyalizm ve faşizm olduğu sürece halkların kurtuluş mücadelesinde olacaktır. Ve bu tüm dünyaya da yayılacaktır. Emperyalist sistem dünyanın tek hakimi olamayacaktır. Emperyalist sistem dünya halklarına boyun eğdiremeyecektir. Bu mesaj bugün hayata geçti ve karşılığını buldu. Direnen bir odak o gün Türkiye hapishanelerinde Devrimci Halk Kurtuluş Partisi cephesi tuzaklarının yarattığı direniş merkeziydi. Ama o direniş merkezi Anadolu'da 3 milyon insanın ayağa kalkmasıyla ve bugün dünyada halkların ayağa kalkmasıyla karşılığını buldu ve en önemlisi doğrulandı. Evet, sınıflar mücadelesi sürüyor. Emperyalizm ve faşizm olduğu sürece sürmeye devam edecek. Halklar bugün çok daha ileri mevziler kazanmıştır. Daha büyük mevziler kazanarak başarıya ulaşacaklar. Bu vesileyle 19 Aralık'da şehit düşen ve o günden bu yana Türkiye'de ve dünyada şehit düşen tüm devrimcileri bir kez daha saygıyla anıyoruz. Onların yürüdüğü yol devrime giden halkların kurtuluş yoluydu. O yolu yürümeye devam edeceğiz. Çalışmanızda başarılar diliyorum. Teşekkürler.
Kuşandı alın bandını, kınayla işlediler avuçlarını. Kahramanlar kuşandı alın bandını, kınayla işlediler avuçlarını. Damla damla içtiler hayatlarını. Kahramanlar ölmez, halk yenilmez. Damla damla içtiler hayatlarını. Kahramanlar ölmez, halk yenilmez. Kahramanlar ölmez, halk yenilmez.
Ignatius Polat, political prisoner, give us this great voice message and explain the situation of those time as eyewitness. But in Bassa prison, we will tell some things about his case here in Athens. Ignatius Polat is a part of one case that held with 11 political revolutionary prisoners from Turkey that imprisoned in Greece with an unlawful and injustice penalty backed by US and European Union imperialism, fascism and New Democracy Mitsotakis government of Greece. They take 333 years altogether for penalty, 30 years each other for 11 revolutionary prisoners. This why? Because the Greek government collaborate with fascism and use altogether the terror list of imperialism, because this list used to give these big penalties the court in Greece. Who is the real terrorist? This was also something that we tell also in the court. Many solidarity actions make and still continue for 11 revolutionary prisoners, because the real terrorist is the imperialism and fascism. Is all this that they spread in all the people in poorness, give them murders, give them crises, make injustice and unlawfulness. In this way, our political prisoners here in Greece, 11 revolutionaries, give a big fight against injustice. They never surrendered. They continue the fight against imperialism and fascism. They continue the anti-imperialist and anti-fascist struggle. That's why they take this big penalty. We tell one more time that we will continue the resistance for justice, the campaign for justice for 11 revolutionary prisoners from Turkey that are imprisoned in Greece. Also Shadina Jospol that is in this case, and in many different prisons our comrades be imprisoned in different prisons all over in Greece, and this makes them separate. This is also a type of separation of political prisoners here. We call all the people to stand by this campaign, to stand for the campaign for justice for 11 revolutionaries from Turkey, because the real terrorist is this that give this penalty, because 11 revolutionaries from Turkey never started against the tortures, against the murders of AKP fascism, against the invasions of imperialism and fascism. Stand by the side of youth, stand by for the people of Anatolia and also from Europe in the status here of political refugees. We will never recognize this unlawful and unjust decision made by imperialism and fascism. We will continue the campaign. We call all the people to support this campaign. Also in Turkey, so many actions, and also in Europe, in Greece, in Germany, in Austria, in Italy, in many different countries, in France. Continue the campaign for justice and freedom for 11 revolutionaries from Turkey. We continue our program with the MAR, the movement against the repression from Spain. We have a video with English subtitles. The people there cannot participate live, but this was not a problem. It was from the movement of Pablo Hasél Solidarity. A huge movement that grew because of solidarity for the revolutionary musician as Pablo Hasél, and he will explain some things about all this situation that held in Spain those time, because we see also the meaning of the fight of Pablo Hasél is the same, very close like the fight from Group Urum, because the revolutionary struggle and revolutionary movement and music also will never stop in the world. That's why they are making the imperialists and the fascism this law against the political art. We can give we can give the floor to him, and I will explain some things about the community who speak after.
Hace ya más de 100 años que Lenin advirtió de la tendencia en todos los países capitalistas hacia la reacción y el recorte de derechos y libertades. Especialmente en los estados con tintes más claramente fascistas como el nuestro o el turco, llevamos ya décadas padeciendo una dictadura descarnada por su parte contra los militantes revolucionarios, contra la clase obrera y contra cualquiera que se atreva a plantarles cara. Todo ello se sufre de manera atroz en las cárceles, donde los compañeros que están totalmente a la merced de unos estados que solamente buscan aniquilarlos de la manera que sea. Aquí, concretamente, en el Estado español, hemos sufrido durante décadas terrorismo de Estado, torturas, aislamiento, dispersión penitenciaria, etc. Si tuviéramos que nombrar el método favorito del Estado español para acabar con los presos políticos en los últimos años es, sin lugar a dudas, la desatención sanitaria en la prisión. Incumpliendo incluso sus propias leyes que les obligan a ocuparse de la salud de los presos en general, en tanto en cuanto los tienen encerrados y pasan a ser de su responsabilidad, niegan con extrema asiduidad los cuidados necesarios para tratar las dolencias de los presos políticos. Si la situación normal en las cárceles españolas es ya de por sí deplorable y las condiciones en que están todos los presos son lamentables en todos los sentidos, recordemos las altísimas cotas de drogadicción, enfermedades crónicas desarrolladas dentro, la mortandad por enfermedades curables, los índices de sobredosis, etc. A la hora de tratar a los presos políticos, las prisiones se convierten en declarados centros de exterminio. Hemos visto cómo se impiden operaciones necesarias a los presos políticos, el acceso a medicamentos vitales, a gafas, reconocimientos médicos por parte de profesionales ajenos a las prisiones y una justificación por parte de los médicos internos de las torturas. Pero vamos más allá. A muchos presos políticos gravemente enfermos, algunos de manera terminal, se les ha impedido salir de la prisión para que pasasen sus últimos días en casa con sus familias. Y tenemos el caso de Isabel Aparicio, una militante comunista que murió en 2014 víctima de esta falta de atención sanitaria. Todo ello no responde solamente a la sed de venganza de estos sádicos que pretenden eliminar cualquier atisbo de rebeldía y resistencia contra su sistema de explotación y miseria. También supone un claro chantaje para todos los presos políticos. Así, el coste por no renunciar a sus principios e ideales, por mantener la lucha a toda costa y por no arrepentirse ni bajar la cabeza, es su propia salud. El Estado español tiene así una herramienta mucho más refinada que las torturas tradicionales como las palizas o el ahogamiento para presionar a nuestros compañeros presos. ¿No quieres pasar por el aro? ¿No claudicas? ¿No te rindes? No pasa nada. Te mantenemos décadas preso con cadenas perpetuas encubiertas, no permitimos que te trates tus dolencias y ya te irás debilitando y muriendo. Ese es el mensaje que nos lanzan. Por ello es muy encomiable el sacrificio y la abnegada entrega de todos los revolucionarios y antifascistas presos que, a pesar de ello y sabiendo que está en juego su propia salud, su propia vida, mantienen altas las banderas de la libertad y de la lucha. Son un ejemplo de cómo la conciencia nos ayuda a mantenernos firmes en las peores condiciones y ganarle el pulso al Estado. Y todavía hay que hacer frente a una herramienta más del Estado, el silenciamiento de todo ello. No solamente nos exterminan en la cárcel, sino que nos persiguen por contarlo y denunciarlo. Hace ya casi un año que el rapero Pablo Hasél fue encarcelado precisamente por hablar de todo ello en sus canciones y en sus tweets. Por denunciar concretamente casos como el de Isabel Aparicio, por hacerse eco de la política de exterminio que este Estado lleva a cabo en las prisiones con los presos políticos. No dejan siquiera que les recordemos y que señalemos el verdadero carácter de este régimen. Tenemos que tener claro que la postura contra todo ello debe ser la misma que la de los valientes compañeros que resisten en prisión jugándoselo todo. Tenemos que seguir señalando y denunciando las salvajadas que cometen, dentro y fuera de las cárceles. Debemos enseñarle a todo el mundo, dentro y fuera de nuestras fronteras, las condiciones de vida y de explotación que sufrimos, pero también la brutal represión con que nos enfrentamos y el exterminio de los presos políticos. No podemos callarnos.
We are really thankful about this message of MAR, of Movement Against Repression in Spain. Also, I will add some things that this comrade sent to us in a text. First of all, he said, many thanks on behalf of the martyrs and the repression movement to the organization of this day for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to participate in this important and necessary international event. A big hug also to all participants from all over the world. Solidarity and internationalism are fundamental in the struggle for our rights and freedom. Of course, I would like to start by remembering the comrades murdered 20 years ago today in Turkish prisons by the criminal and fascist Turkish state. It is the duty of all of us not to let them be forgotten.
I'm glad to see you and thank you for opportunity to tell some words about our common struggle against American imperialism. As you know, more than 7 years we have a civil war in Ukraine, and some territories became free as a result of anti-fascist struggle. I mean Donbas republics. In this resistance, more than 1,000 anti-fascists became political prisoners and were caged by Ukrainian Nazi forces. But I want to say, and this is very important, that 95% of them are free now, because we had opportunity to make exchange and take from Ukrainian prisons our anti-fascist comrades. So that will gather money for political prisoners, that will support their families and help our comrades in another ways. Somebody can think that it is not very actual for Ukrainian comrades because most of them are free now, but it is not so. It is very important for us too because situation in Ukraine now is very bad. The team of President Zelensky destroyed economy and now they need to provocate war because they need to explain for Ukrainian society what the reason is, that the reason is not in capitalism, but the reason of crisis is so-called Russian aggression. These things happen amid expansion of NATO in Ukraine. More than 10 military bases were located in different regions near border of Russia, Donbass and Belarus now. There are a lot of CIA agents and MI6 agents in Ukraine. Also, we have information about 4,000 of soldiers from private military companies. Military budget of Ukraine on the next year is more bigger than this year budget, on 20%. So it means that they really prepare for war. So I think that far-right Ukrainian radicals will try to organize new aggression against Donbass and Ukrainian people who doesn't support nationalist and neoliberal politics. So we need to prepare now, and the problem of political prisoners are very actual for us too. As you know, Russia proposed to make a new agreement not to expand NATO on East, but there are no answer from American imperialists, and I think they will not make such agreement. So situation is very hard and it can explode every moment. In this situation, we will need your help very much, and from our side, we will support your resistance, your struggle in all available for us ways and methods. Freedom for Ali Osman Kose, freedom for Aytaç Ünsal, freedom for Ayten Öztürk and all honest people who get in imperialist jails in their resistance. No pasarán.
We are thankful for the participation with the video from Alexei. We will continue with the eyewitnesses. We have the opportunity to have live the Ayten Öztürk, witness of a massacre in Umrani prison those time, and also victim of torture for 6 months in Turkey in legal situation and other tortures. She are here to discuss with us under house arrest in Turkey. She will explain all the situation. She will speak in Turkish and we will have a translation in English. Ayten abla merhaba, hoş geldin. Çeviri için yapabilirsin, kısa kısa konuşabilirsin. So we give the floor to Ayten Öztürk and we will have also direct translation, simultaneization in English.
İyi akşamlar. 19-22 Aralık deyince aklımıza yapılan 6 kadınımız geliyor. Hayata dönüş adı verilen operasyonda hapishanelerde katledilen 28 derinci tutsak geliyor.
When we think about the 19th of December, in our mind come the 6 women that were burnt alive. We think about the 28 political prisoners who were killed during this massacre.
19 Aralık şehitlerimizi saygıyla anıyor, hepinizi selamlıyorum.
I want to greet all these martyrs with respect and love, and want to greet all of you.
Ben bugün 19 Aralık'ta Ümraniye'de hapishanedeyken yaşadıklarımı, tanıklıklarımı anlatmak istiyorum.
Today I want to talk about what I have experienced during the 19 December massacre in the Ümraniye prison.
O gece ben daha sonra ölüm orucunda şehit düşecek olan Meryem Altun'la birlikte ayaktaydım ve hapishanede bir anormallik olduğunu fark ettik.
When the massacre started in the prison, I was together with later martyred Meryem Altun, and we were on our feet when we understood that there was something going on.
Uzun süredir hapishanelere yönelik bir operasyon gerçekleştirileceğini bekliyorduk. Çünkü devlet televizyonlarında devletin yetkililerinin yaptığı açıklamalardan F tipi tecrit hücrelerinin açılacağını ve devrimci tutsakların zorla bu hapishanelere yerleştirilmeye çalışılacağını biliyorduk, bekliyorduk.
For a long time we had understood, or we had waited, expected such a big operation, because in the media of the state all the time they spoke about something like to make transfer of the political prisoners to the new installed isolation prisons called the F-type cells.
F tipi hapishaneleri halkların direnişinin önünü kesmek için, emperyalizme ve faşizme karşı mücadelenin önünü kesmek için, devrimcileri halktan koparmak için planlanan bir emperyalizm projesiydi.
The F-type jails were a project by imperialism in order to end the resistance of the political and revolutionary prisoners, and also to deprive them, the revolutionaries, from the people.
Özgür tutsaklar böyle bir saldırıya karşı direnişle karşılık vereceğini daha önceden ilan etmişlerdi ve 20 Ekim tarihinde de ölüm orucuna başlanmıştı.
The revolutionary political prisoners already before had announced that they would confront such an attack, and that they are going to start announced that they will start with a death fast resistance on the 20th of October 2000.
Ayrıca özgür tutsakların bir kısmı, özellikle ölüm orucunda olanlar, herhangi bir saldırı olursa hapishanelere yönelik kendilerini yakarak feda edeceklerini, saldırıya karşı kendilerini feda ederek protesto edeceklerini dilekçeleriyle operasyondan önce de ilan etmişlerdi.
And also part of the prisoners, also of those who were on the death fast resistance, I mean those who had to protect those, wanted to protect those on the death fast resistance, had announced that they would confront such an attack, that would attack to the prisoner by burning themselves and by resisting to this cruel attack. And they had before already asked for, or told that they are being voluntaries for sacrificing themselves to protect the other prisoner comrades.
Çünkü bu saldırı devrimcileri kişiliğinden arındırma, kişiliksizleştirme ve halkta devrim umudunu yok etmeye yönelik ciddi bir saldırıydı ve çok ağır kayıplar verileceğini biliyorduk.
Because they knew that such an attack was in order to make prisoners giving up their revolutionary ideas, and also to take away their personality, and so they had to counter this attack.
O gece arkadaşım Meryem hapishane içerisindeki özel harekat timlerini kapıdan gördüğünde ellerinde otomatik silahlar ve kar maskeleri vardı. Bize
When my
haber vermek için bize doğru koşarken arkasına ateş etmeye başladılar.
when Meryem Altun, my comrade, saw the special units of the special forces of the military coming there to the doors of the prison by machine guns, and she wanted to warn us when she come back to us to tell us that they are standing there with heavy machine guns. They started to shoot on her from the back.
Ee, Tesadüf eseri o sırada yaralanmadı ve koğuşta hızla hazırlıklarımıza başlayıp ölüm oruçlarının güvenliğini almaya başladık. Daha sonra da erkek arkadaşlarla bir araya geldik ve saldırıya karşı direnmeye başladık.
And in this moment, there was nobody insured, but we very quickly went back to the cells and we started our resistance. We came together with our male comrades in the prison to decide on making the resistance. And so we started to build barricades to prepare each other.
Bize saldırmaya gelen özel timlerin yüzünde gaz maskeleri vardı ve içeriye atılacak gaz maskelerinin etkisini azaltmak için pencereleri battaniyeler sıkıştırarak girişini engellemeye çalıştık. Ancak çatılardan delikler açmaya başladılar ve bombalarını çatılardan yüzlerce bomba atmaya başladılar.
They came inside with the gas bombs and they had themselves gas masks on when they threw hundreds of gas bombs on us inside these closed cells. We tried to protect each other or ourselves from this gas. We tried to close all the windows and so on, but they came then breaking through the windows and through the walls, and from the roofs they started to throw inside hundreds of gas bombs on us.
İlk saldırıdan sonra biz Bayrampaşa hapishanesinde de 6 kadının diri diri yakıldığını duyduk. Onlardan bir tanesi benim yengem Yazgül Güder Öztürk'tü. Aynı hapishanede ablam Hamide Öztürk de vardı. Onun durumuyla ilgili o anda haber alamadım.
And when we faced this first attack in Ümraniye prison, then we heard as well that they had attacked in Bayrampaşa prison, and they had burned 6 women alive in their cells there. And one of those was also my sister-in-law, Yazgül Güder Öztürk. And also my sister then was Hamide Öztürk. She was as well in Bayrampaşa prison in this time, but I couldn't get yet any further information about how they are doing.
Daha sonra benim bulunduğum hapishanede de, Ümraniye hapishanesinde de yaralılar giderek artmaya başladı ve Ahmet İbili'nin kendini yakarak operasyonu durdurmak için feda ettiğini duydum. O bizden biraz uzaktaydı, o yüzden o anı kendim göremedim. Ama kendini feda etti.
And in my prison, when I stayed in Ümraniye prison, also the number of insurers, they had increased immediately. And then we heard, though he was a little bit far from our cell, so I couldn't directly see or find it, but we heard that Ahmet İbili, who was there as well, had sacrificed himself by setting himself on fire in order to protect the others to stop the attack.
Ahmet İbili ile beraber 4 özgür tutsak orada kurşunlarla ve bombalarla katledildi.
Together with Ahmet Öztürk, in total 4 prisoners have been killed by the bullets of the soldiers.
Bir yerde yangın çıkarıldı ve o yangında hepimiz yanabilirdik. Uzun bir süre o yangına yakın koğuşta kaldık. Hapishanenin suları kesik olduğu için susuz ve çok yakıcı bir sıcağın ortasında saatlerce bekletildik.
And in a place close to our cell, in a cell that was just next to us, they also set the cell on fire. So this fire was very long, so we could have been burnt as well there. But it was very hot inside. The whole air came all over there from the burning and from the fire. But all the water hoses were closed, so we had not water even. And this was for hours that we had to wait there in this situation.
Orada 4 gün boyunca susuz ve yaralılar ilaçsız kaldı. 4 gün boyunca insanlar defalarca bayıldı, kendine geldi tekrardan ve o 4 günün sonunda en ciddi bombalı saldırıyı herkese yönelik yaptılar ve herkes en son bulunduğu yerde çırpınarak bayıldı ve o son gündü.
And all over these 4 days, all the prisoners, they just fainted and they came to them again and they fainted again. 4 days long, this attack has continued and well.
Bizi götürdüklerinde başka bir hapishaneye götürdüler, Kartal Hapishanesi'ne. Üzerimizdeki gaz kokusu günlerce gitmedi ve saldırıları orada da gittiğimiz yerde de sürdü. Zaten işkenceyle götürmüşlerdi.
When this operation ended, after 4 days, they took us to the Kartal prison, and my clothes had still on this smell or the smoke of the gas bombs all the time. And actually, the attacks didn't end there. Also, when we were transferred already, and all during the transfer, at least, also this attack continued until we were there.
T tipi tecrit hapishaneleriyle direnişi bitireceklerini, devrimcileri düşüncelerinden arındırabileceklerini ve başarıya ulaşacaklarını düşündüler. Ancak böyle olmadı. Direniş 7 yıl boyunca sürdü. Ölüm orucu direnişi ve 122 şehit verilerek zafer kazanıldı.
And they wanted, with this attack, they wanted that we would give up our ideas, our ideology, and that we end our resistance, but they couldn't succeed. The resistance against this isolation policy, they continued for 7 years, and a total of 122 people had lost their lives inside this resistance of the death fast and so on.
Halka ve devrimcilere yönelik saldırılar ise devam etti ve ben oradan tahliye olduktan sonra yıllar sonra 2018 yılında Lübnan'dan kaçırılarak Türkiye'ye getirildim ve 6 ay bir işkence merkezinde her türlü işkenceyi yaşadım.
And even the attacks for me didn't end when I get out of the prison again after years, because I was later in exile in Lebanon and I was captured, kidnapped by secret services from Lebanon in 2018, and I was captured to Turkey, where I had to spend a total of 6 months in a secret torture center. I had been tortured there, and then I was put in the jail and now in house arrest.
Ben yıllarca Türkiye'de devrimcilik yapan bir insan olarak ve 94 yılında abimi kaybeden biri olarak, ardından 2002 yılında ablamı yine ölüm orucunda kaybeden birisi olarak benim gibi devrimciliği sürdüren bir insanı işkence altında yok etmek, bitirmek, direnişimi kırmak istediler. Ancak bunu başaramadılar.
And persons like me, when I also have a long period, a long life of struggle in Turkey as a revolutionary, and I always faced this torture and so on. And then also I had lost my brother Ahmet. He was killed by the state forces, and later in 2002 also Hamide, my sister, she died in the death fast. So persons like me, they always try with torture to finish up, to destroy us, to finish our struggle by torture and by this kind of attacks. But they couldn't succeed despite all these policies.
Aslında benim nezdimde adalet mücadelesi veren, direnen tüm halklara, devrimcilere, muhaliflere bir mesaj verilmek isteniyordu. Her an bir yerden kaçırılıp, dipsiz bir kuyuda işkence görüp, belki de yok edilebilirsiniz. Onun için direnişinizden vazgeçin mesajı verilmek isteniyordu.
Actually, by doing that with me, by torturing me and capturing me, they wanted to give a message to all those people who are in the political struggle to say, so if you continue, we can get you, we can catch you anywhere, and we can do the same to you. We're going to kidnap you, torture you, and so on. And that's the message given, in my case, to others.
Bu şekilde baskı ve işkence yöntemleri, kaçırma yöntemleri yönetemeyen bütün faşist iktidarların çaresizliğinin ve güçsüzlüğünün, devrimcilerden, halktan korkusunun bir sonucudur. Bugün devam eden adaletsizlikler, ekonomik kriz, halkın memnuniyetsizliği, bunun karşısında devrimcilerin direnişi karşısında ancak böyle gayrimeşru yöntemlere başvurarak sindirebileceklerini düşünüyorlar. Fakat bunda da başarılı olamayacaklar. Çünkü bugün bildiğiniz gibi Sibel Balaç ve Gökhan Yıldırım da ölüm orucu direnişlerine başlayarak bu iddianın yok olmadığını, direnişin devam edeceğini ve devrimcilerin umut olmaktan asla çıkmayacağını ilan ettiler.
Well, this way, this politics by this government and by all the governments who are ruling with oppression, and so the way that they act against political opposition, against people, revolutionaries, to intimidate, this kind of illegitimate and illegal methods that they are using is just the expression of their crisis economically and politically. It's just the expression and reflection of their helplessness in order to hide their crisis and their problems. And so they try to rule with that illegitimacy and with this violence against people who are resisting. And but they will not be able to succeed with this. They are not going to succeed with their politics to silence the people's voices against injustice.
6 aylık işkenceden halkın, yoldaşlarımın sahiplenmesi sonucunda bulundum. Daha sonra 3,5 yıl tutsak kaldım. Yine aynı sahiplenmeyle tutsaklıktan tahliye edildim. Ancak ev hapsiyle tahliye edildim. Şu anda ev hapsindeyim ve ev hapsine karşı hukuki bütün yolları deneyerek ev hapsinin kaldırılması için direnmeye devam ediyorum.
Well, I was with the support, with the voices, with the campaign of all my comrades and people. When I was in, when I had disappeared, when I was in this torture center, I could get out again there. And then I spent 3.5 years in the prison unjustly. And also with the support of my friends, with my people, I could get out there. But unfortunately, when I was released, I was just released in house arrest, where I'm now for already over 6 months. And now I'm doing a campaign to get out of my house arrest again.
Baskılara, saldırılara, zulme, işkencelere karşı hiçbir dönem sessiz kalmadık, direndik. Daha önce nasıl direndiysek bugün de direnmeye devam ediyoruz ve biz kazanacağız diyoruz.
So we had resisted all this repression, oppression, and injustices. As we did in the past, we were going to do that also from now, recently, and we continue with this. And we know very well that we are right, and so we are going to win. Thank you.
we are very thankful about the speech of Ayten Öztürk. We have this very important discussion with the witnesses, the eyewitnesses of the different prisons in Turkey. We will continue. We have in our program some participants that accidentally they cannot participate, but it was also our honor to have it together. It was the other participant that cannot participate. It was Mehmet Güvel, a member of Tayyad, the former death faster and witness of massacre in Bayramba prison. He cannot participate accidentally, so we will continue with Ihsan Çipelek, Group Yorum member, and he will make a short statement and he will tell some songs for us. Group Yorum is a revolutionary music group from Turkey that writes so many songs about death fast resistance and all the resistance those periods, but even in the last death fast resistance, and two members of the group, Helin Bolek and Ibrahim Bilukçek, felt martyred in the huge death fast resistance for justice and for making their concerts and stop all this attack to the music group. These attacks that still continue also in Turkey and also in Germany. And in whole Europe, the imperialism also attacked the Group Yorum, as we saw in the last period, also with the engagement of the members of Group Yorum. The attack of imperialism in Germany still continue. We will give the floor to Ihsan Çipelek to give us a short speak, and we are very pleased to have with us also and have some songs of Group Yorum. İhsan abi merhaba. Senin mikrofonun kapalı.
Şimdi?
Şimdi tamam, sesin geliyor.
Okey.
Tamam.
Merhabalar. Başlayayım mı?
Evet abi, başlayabilirsin.
Bu konferansı düzenleyen arkadaşların emeklerine sağlık. Öncelikle onların ellerine sağlık diyorum. Onları kutluyorum. Ve konuşmamı İngilizce sürdürmek istiyorum. Hello to every comrade, every participant, and my comrades who tried to prepare such a conference. It is very, very important in those days to remind, to not to forget the massacres of the fascism and imperialism, and not to forget the policies of the imperialism and fascism against revolutionaries. I myself was also in prison in 1922 December on 2000. I was in Çanakkale prison, and yeah, my comrades has been given informations about the situation, the death strike, death fast, and the purpose of that fast, the purpose of the resistance, and they attacked the theme of the spirit of the attack against Turkish revolutionaries. They give general information about them. I just myself want to combine the facts that with our art also, with our music also, because everybody asks us, what do you choose as a source of your art? Group Yorum gives the answer. In general, the class struggle is our main source to create our art, but it's not a general thing. It's also the thing that we are physically in, and we are participating all the events in this struggle. So in this great resistance, I was also had a chance to participate in fourth team of Death Fast in this great struggle. And I want to tell an important memory. I remember my comrades Ibrahim Erler. He was also the member of the fourth team in Tekirdağ F-type prison. And as you have been informed about the sacrificers who are before the operation, who wrote letters to the ministry of to the ministries that if you make military operation to stop this operation, we will burn our bodies, we will sacrifice ourselves. Don't do it. But they had realized the operation, and our comrades, first Fidan Kalşen in Çanakkale prison sacrificed herself, and Ahmet İbili and the others. 28 of our comrades has been killed in this attack. And Ibrahim Erler, the resistance was continued. The fascism cannot stop the resistance. Even they realized the operation, they killed us, they tortured us, and they put us all to the F-type prisons. But in F-type prisons, the struggle, the resistance had been continued, because in the first team was fourth team, and I was also participating in this team. Ibrahim Erler it was also one of the participants of this team. The struggle also was continued in outside. Our families organization, Tayat, also they had done everything in legitimate, in democratic ways, but at last they decided to put their bodies in death fast also, and they chose the small region in Istanbul, Küçük Armutlu, a place, Küçük Armutlu, they were resisting there in small houses, but and the prisoners who had been forced to eat or who had been medically forced, they went out and they go directly to Küçük Armutlu to continue this struggle. In Küçük Armutlu was the point of the resistance in outside. But the police, the fascist police, the system had decided to attack there and to finish the resistance in outside also. We had heard the attempt to operate there to finish the resistance outside in the prison by TVs. And we also, like the premier comrades, we also write lots of letters to ministries to say that if you operate there, if you make military operation, if you force them to finish by guns, etc., we will burn our bodies to stop this operation. And one day, in the night, we heard the slogans that Ibrahim Eller is immortal. That means Ibrahim Eller had sacrificed himself. And after Ibrahim, with my comrades, we wrote a song, we wrote a lyric, and then I made a song in the cell, and then I have sent it to our comrades, to Group Yorum, and they also arranged and put it in an album. Yeah, this is just one example that in this struggle, our songs are grown up in this struggle, in the class struggle of Anatolian people and all the peoples all over the world. I want to also to mention the Marash and Roboski. Today's also the anniversary of these massacres. Marash massacre had been realized in 1978 in Turkey by fascist regime, and also the CIA members organized in Marash, and lots of people killed, neighbors were killed there. And also in Roboski, the military forces, AKP fascism, had decided and planned the massacre. 34 villagers had been killed. I now, in the respect of their these people, and the respect of their memory, I want now to play a song which we created about Ibrahim. I will sing it now, and I now just want to say that the struggle in prisons and in everywhere will continue because we are, being Group Yorum, not just following the developments, but especially being tortured and being captured to prison. Now 8 of our members are in prison, and just 2 weeks ago, again, our culture center has been collapsed by police, and our comrades had been taken to police stations, tortured, and 4 of them are arrested now. One of them is Sultan Gökçek, the wife of our comrade, the wife of Ibrahim Gökçek, and she was also now forced by the prosecutors to be in conversation and to collaborate with them, but she refused. This was also a policy used by the judge system of Turkey to make people collaborators, to make people signing some papers which are full of the lies prepared by police and against their comrades, against their revolutionaries. But we are refusing them, and we will continue to resist in every means. We will resist because we know that just the resistance can win. This is my the last message, and I want to sing the song of İbrahim Erler, Güle Sevdalı. Tekirdağ'ında bir çoban ateşi yanar, zindanında özgürlüğe baş bağlayanlar, zindanında özgürlüğe baş bağlayanlar. Hüzlesinde bir çingene, dudağında bir gül dalı. Hüzlesinde bir çingene, dudağında bir gül dalı. Güle sevdalı, güle sevdalı, güle sevdalı. Oy güle sevdalı, güle sevdalı, güle sevdalı. Armutlunun ortasında bir gül bahçesi, çingenemin hüzresine sığmaz yüreğim. Çingenemin hüzresine sığmaz yüreğim. Yoldaş diyor avazında, halkım diyor avazında. Yoldaş diyor avazında, halkım diyor avazında. Sana sevdalı, sana sevdalı, sana sevdalı. Oy sana sevdalı, sana sevdalı, sana sığar.
Thank very much, İhsan, like the group you remember. We continue with Rita. Is an entire campaign for the liberation of George Ibrahim Abdallah. She's in Paris, and she will read also a personal message of George Abdallah. Hello, Rita. We have her live here with us. Ona mı?
Hello.
Hello,
Can you
Rita.
hear me
If
well?
you hear us, you can open your microphone and start your speak.
Hello. Okay, great. So thank you, comrades, for organizing this conference to commemorate the 19th of December massacre. So let me start by reading the message sent from our comrade, George Abdallah. Dear comrades, dear friends, to commemorate today the massacre of December 19, it is above all to celebrate the heroic resistance of those women and men who did not surrender to the criminal barbarity of the fascism in Turkey. Braving the fire and bullets of the assassins, burned alive or asphyxiated under the bombs, they affirmed their unwavering will to defend their revolutionary conviction, to fight relentlessly against F-type isolation cells, and to pursue their hunger strike to the end. Through their determination, they were recognized as torches of struggle, guiding our different paths of the revolutionary to victory. This massacre, like those who preceded and followed it, and those who are still ongoing in front of our eyes, unmask the abject reality of the fascist regime in Turkey and its imperialist allies. Thus, we cannot count, comrades, on bourgeois justice to hold the assassins to account. Let us be worthy of our martyrs. Let's all push together and by all available means so that the historic social bloc and its various expressions do not let these massacres and crimes go unpunished. We all know, comrades, that the policy of annihilation to which the revolutionary protagonists imprisoned in Turkey and elsewhere in the world are exposed has for decades been on the agenda of criminal capitalist regimes. That is why, comrades, the best way to defend and protect our incarcerated comrades is to increasingly include the mobilization in favor of their liberation in the process of the global struggle against repression and exploitation. One should know that in order to snatch our incarcerated comrades, Ali Osman, Kose, and the others, from the clutches of the fascists in power, their continued detention must begin to weigh more heavily than the possible threats inherent in their liberation. That is why, comrades, the most appropriate solidarity that can be brought to political prisoners is to engage more and more in the field of the global struggle against the system of exploitation and domination. The resistance of our incarcerated comrades provides all the protagonists of the struggle with the necessary ingredients for mobilization within the popular mass movements. The resistance, and always the resistance, despite all the inestimable sacrifices, wherever hope and dignity flourish, the long path of resistance appear in the background. They resist and always resist until the balance of forces changes. Our martyrs knew this better than anyone else. They engraved it in their bodies and bloods. This is why they will never die. They will remain forever present in our hearts like inexhaustible flames, illuminating our different paths of struggle and reinforcing our determination in difficult moments. Honor to the martyrs and peoples in struggle. Solidarity, all solidarity with our comrade Ali Osman Kose and all the comrades resisting in the F-type prisons. Solidarity, all solidarity with the resistant fighters in Zionist jails and in isolation cells in Morocco, Turkey, Greece, the Philippines, and elsewhere around the world. Down with imperialism and its Zionist watchdog and reactionary Arab states. Capitalism is nothing more than barbarism. Honor to all those who oppose it in the different diversity of their expressions. Together, comrades, and it's only together that we will conquer. To all of you, comrades and friends, my warmest revolutionary greetings. Your comrade, George Abdallah. Thank you. I will directly continue to the statement on behalf of the Unitary Campaign for the Liberation of George Abdallah. Let's start by, that would like to thank you for organizing this conference and for letting us participate. So solidarity, all solidarity with the resistant fighters in Zionist jails and in isolation cells in Morocco, Turkey, Greece, the Philippines, and elsewhere around the world. Those who know this slogan will associate it instantly and automatically with George Abdallah. It is indeed one of the key slogans which for years has clothed each of our comrade statesmen. For George Abdallah, this slogan is not just words. As with all the fights he has led throughout his life, words inevitably go hand in hand with acts. This dialectic of theory and practice punctuates the whole of his experience and his struggle. We no longer count the occasions, not only before but also during his very long years of detention, where this proclaimed solidarity was reflected into acts. Solidarity, all solidarity with the resistant fighters in isolation cells in Turkey. George Abdallah still calls today for this solidarity. He had chosen in particular to make it concrete in 2001. He went on hunger strike from the 9th to 15th of July 2001 in continuity of the solidarity movement with the struggle of the revolutionary prisoners in Turkey. For him, it was also a matter of denouncing the barbarity of the Turkish fascist regime, of giving his full support to the heroic struggle of the alive martyrs. On the 14th of July, he called for a day of anger and mobilization in favor of the resistance engaged by the comrades in Turkey. It was about uniting inside and outside the walls to bring the just demands of the political prisoners of Turkey against the prison repression of F-type isolation cells, to denounce all forms of torture and repression initiated by the Turkish state and its security court under cover of so-called anti-terrorism laws. Finally, it was about unmasking all the collaboration of the pseudo-democrats with the Turkish fascist regime, and especially the deafening silence even within our ranks. This commitment, alongside the torches of freedom and unbeatable heroes, as George Abdallah likes to call his comrades prisoners, was also illustrated at the time in the will of constituting a community of struggle, all united across these differences and across borders, in and against the imperialist prison, all united against the imperialist bourgeoisie, its states, its alliances, its national fractions, its compradors, its armed and police forces, all united against injustice, misery, oppression, and exploitation, all united for the cause of peoples and the legitimacy of their struggles, all united for the recourse to just and legitimate revolutionary violence, the only guarantor of social and popular liberation, all united for the full recognition of the correctness of the resistance fighters' commitment, all united for the recognition of their struggle in all its forms, without regret or capitulation. There is two slogans that can accompany the famous "We have reason to revolt," and they are the following: defending one of us is defending us all. Attacking one of us is attacking us all. By the platform of June 19, 1999, signed in particular by our comrade, the international solidarity of peoples was affirmed alongside international solidarity of revolutionary, communist, anarchist, anti-fascist, and anti-imperialist prisoners. In this context, it was evident to demonstrate by words and deeds the slogan proclaimed by George Abdallah in his declaration of July 4, 2001. The claims of these alive martyrs' comrades are ours. Since then, the line of conduct of our comrade George Abdallah as his commitment have never been shaken. Despite the 37 years of imprisonment he has known since 1984, while he began on October 24, 2021, his 38th year of detention, he tirelessly continued to fight imperialism, Zionism, reactionary Arab state, and fascism. Not a day goes by without him being informed of the dynamics of ongoing struggles. Not a day goes by without him being beyond the barbed wire in the front line of all the struggles against the established order. George Abdallah, like our political and revolutionary prisoners in Turkey, were and remain resistant fighters at the forefront of the struggle for emancipation and against all forms of people's oppression. Their struggle has been and is political in this war of class against class, against all forms of political, economic, and social domination of power, against all forms of regression and attacks on the most basic rights, and against all forms of oppression and repression. Their struggle has been and is political. And that is why we must define them on the political ground, because their defense is inseparable from their struggle. They are part of our struggles, and we are part of theirs. By the strength of their commitment and determination, political and revolutionary prisoners are most often on the front line of repression. They pay a high price by receiving heavy sentences. They hold solitary confinement, inhuman and degrading conditions of detention, abusive transfers, pressure on their families. Barbarity can go as far as orchestrating massacres at the very heart of the prisons, such as the one carried out against our comrades in Turkey on December 19, 2000. In the early morning, during this military operation against 20 prisons, 28 of our comrades were murdered, hundreds were seriously injured, and more than 1,500 prisoners were transferred to the famous F-type isolation cells. However, in this war with clear shapes, political and revolutionary prisoners have chosen their side, and the strength of their struggle lies in the legitimacy of their cause. It is on this basis that we must defend them and claim their release. It is by fully recognizing ourselves in their political identity, in all their political identity, anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist, anti-Zionist, and anti-fascist, against the reactionary states, and in this case against the Turkish fascist reactionary state, for the end of colonialism and exploitation, in support of the national liberation struggles, and in particular that led by the flame of the resistance for a free and victorious Palestine, from the sea to the river, in support of the people's struggles, their resistance by all means, and in particular through armed struggle. In this openly declared war, yesterday as today, we stand with our imprisoned comrades, and if there is indeed a principle that we set ourselves when claiming their release, it is that of their political commitment that they have never stopped claiming day after day, as our comrades in Turkey do, and as George Abdallah has been doing since that little eternity of life imprisonment. George Abdallah, and with him all the political and revolutionary prisoners from Turkey, Palestine, India, and elsewhere, are our comrades. They are driven by the spirit of rebellion, and they continue to demonstrate day after day that if there is indeed a right to claim, today like yesterday, it is certainly the right to revolt, but also not to surrender. To be detained, that is not the matter. The real matter is not to surrender. Not to surrender by analyzing as closely as possible the state of the imperialist forces and fighting their plans of plundering and domination. Not to surrender by fighting the moribund capitalist system, which is nothing more than barbarity. Not to surrender by consolidating internationalism and solidarity between oppressed people. Not to surrender by turning the courts and jails of the enemy into revolutionary tribunes. Not to surrender by standing up so that another future is not only possible but necessary. Not to surrender by remaining convinced and determined that it is according to a certain balance of forces that we will succeed in tearing our political and revolutionary prisoners from the scratches of the enemy for victory or victory. Long live the resistance of revolutionary prisoners in Turkey. Freedom for George Abdallah, freedom for Osman Kose, freedom for all Palestinian prisoners and for all revolutionary prisoners. Immediate and unconditional lifting of the house arrest of Ayten Öztürk. Solidarity, all solidarity with the revolutionary prisoners in Zionist jails and in isolation cells in Morocco, Turkey, Greece, the Philippines, and elsewhere around the world. Honor to the martyrs and peoples in struggle. Down with imperialism and its Zionist watchdogs and reactionary Arab states. Capitalism and imperialism are nothing more than barbarism. Honor to all who oppose it by all the possible means. Together, comrades, and it's only together that we will conquer. Thank you very much.
Şimdi senin sesin, şimdi seni gördüm.
Thank you, Rita, very much. We are really thankful about this really important speech of the campaign and the committee for the campaign for liberation of George Ibrahim Abdallah. This was the really grateful message from the George Ibrahim Abdallah inside the prison, who is under so many years with injustice conditions, because he must go out, and imperialism of France and Israel Zionism not let him to go out from prison, and he must be out. He's the older political prisoners in Europe, so many years, more than 38 years inside the prison under of unlawfulness situation. He must go out. He sent message for solidarity to Ali Osman Kose, the revolutionary Sikh prisoners of Turkey, that we will explain his case after, and this all our conference is based to the solidarity to Ali Osman Kose and to all political prisoners. And this message of George Ibrahim Abdallah is really meaningful and very important for all the people of the world, I can say, because it is the meaning of the international solidarity inside the prisons for the prisoners, because these prisoners know what is isolation. Ali Osman Kose knows what is isolation. George Ibrahim Abdallah knows what is isolation. Mumia Abu Jamal knows what is isolation. And many other prisoners know very well this case. We must fight in the side by side of them and all together to take them out of prison immediately. The fight against imperialism, Zionism, and fascism is not a crime; it's a duty. We are really thankful about this speech, Rita. We will continue with Political Prisoners Network of Hamburg. The message will be in German, and if you can comrade that he is here, make short breaks for the translation text. Thank you very much. So give the floor to Hamburg Political Prisoners Network.
Hello, comrades. I speak in German. Sorry, my English is not good. Freiheit für Ali Osman Kose. Ali ist ein politischer Gefangener und Genosse, der in der Türkei seit über 40 Jahren für einen sozialistischen Staat kämpft. Er befindet sich deshalb seit 37 Jahren in Gefangenschaft.
Freedom for Ali Osman Kose. Ali Osman Kose is a political prisoner and comrade who has been fighting for socialist state in Turkey for over 40 years. Therefore, he has been in prison for 37 years. Okay.
Seine Inhaftierung begann am 12. September 1980 in der Zeit der von den NATO-Staaten unterstützten Militärjunta. Er erlebte zahlreiche staatliche Morde in den türkischen Gefängnissen, von denen die bekannteste die Operation Rückkehr ins Leben war, die vom 19. bis zum 22. Dezember 2000 gegen die politischen Gefangenen stattfand.
His imprisonment started on September 12, 1980, during the period of military junta supported by the NATO countries. He experienced numerous state killings in the Turkish prisons The most famous, which was the return to life operation, that was carried out against political prisoners from December 19 to 22 in 2000. Okay. Okay.
In ihrem Widerstand gegen die Einführung der Isolationsfolter nach deutschem Vorbild, made in Stammheim, wurden 28 politische Gefangene liquidiert. Die Ermordung durch den türkischen Faschismus wurde von den Staaten der imperialistischen NATO insgesamt gebilligt und unterstützt.
The resistance to the introduction of isolation torture on the German model made in Stammheim, 28 political prisoners were liquidated. The murder by the Turkish fascism was approved and supported by states of the imperialist NATO as a whole. Okay.
Ali Osman Kose befindet sich seit dem Jahre 2000 in solchen F-Typ-Isolationszellen. Diese Isolationsfolter hat seine Gesundheit weiter ruiniert.
Ali Osman Kose has been in such F-type isolation cells since 2000. This isolation torture has further ruined his health. Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Ein unabhängiges ärztliches Gutachten bestätigt, dass er nicht aufstehen kann, ohne sich irgendwo festzuhalten oder dass von ihm jemand geholfen wird. Er kann weder allein gehen, noch seine Kleider waschen, noch duschen und essen.
An independent medical report confirms that he cannot stand up without holding on something or being helped by someone. He cannot walk on his own, nor wash his clothes, nor shower or eat. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Obwohl sich sein Gesundheitszustand in der Situation verschlechterte und er nicht gehen kann, erklärte das Institut für Gerichtsmedizin, dass er im Gefängnis bleiben muss, obwohl er ein 9 cm großes Krebsgeschwür in der Niere hat. Eine sofortige Behandlung nötig ist, wird dieses absichtlich verhindert.
Although his health deteriorated in isolation and he cannot walk, the institution of forensic medicine stated that he must remain in prison. Although he has a 9 cm cancer in his kidney and immediate treatment is needed, it has been deliberately prevented. Okay. Geht schon, hörst du?
Ja. Zusätzlich hat er Probleme mit dem Gedächtnis, was dazu führt, dass er nicht sich mehr daran erinnert, wann er seine Medikamente einnehmen soll. Ja? Er hat Hör-, Seh- und Blutdruckprobleme.
In addition, he has problems with memory, which causes him to not remember when to take his medications. He has hearing, vision, and blood pressure problems. Ja? Okay, du kannst schon?
Ja. Deshalb braucht er ständig Hilfe. Die Gefängnisumgebung und die komplett weiße Zelle verschlimmern seinen Zustand noch weiter.
Therefore, he needs constant help. The prison environment and the all-white cell further aggravate his condition. Ja. Ja, es geht schon schneller weiter. Also ein bisschen schneller geht es auf jeden Fall.
Diese Situation erinnert uns an Katharina Hammerschmidt aus der Bundesrepublik Deutschland. Eine Genossin, die gegen Mitgliedschaft in der Roten Armee-Fraktion sich 1972 der Polizei stellte, aber selbst nicht zu einer bewaffneten Stadtguerilla-Gruppe gehörte.
The situation reminds us to Katharina Hammerschmidt from the Bundesrepublik Deutschland, FRG, a comrade who turned herself into the police, in 1972 for alleged membership in the Red Army faction, but was not herself a member of an armed urban guerrilla group.
Sie starb 1975 kurz nach ihrer Haftentlassung. Trotz eindeutiger Röntgenfotos hatten die Knastärzte einen Tumor übersehen, für dessen erfolgreiche Behandlung es nach der Entlassung zu spät war.
She died 1975, shortly after her release from prison. Despite clear X-ray photos, the prison doctors had overlooked a tumor. It was too late to treat it successfully after her release. Okay. Yes, okay.
Das aber war kein Einzelfall, denn auch heute werden weiterhin deutsche Gefangene trotz angegriffener Gesundheit festgehalten. Aktuell wird der krebskranke Rebell Andreas Krebs nicht freigelassen, der in einen italienischen Knast eingesperrt ist.
This was not an isolated case, however, as German prisoners continue to be held today despite their failing health. Currently, the cancer-stricken rebel Andreas Krebs, who is locked up in an Italian prison, is not being released.
Hier in der Metropole Bundesrepublik Deutschland werden viele linke, kurdische und türkische Aktivistinnen inhaftiert, weil sie auch die wirtschaftliche und militärische Zusammenarbeit der Türkei und der Bundesrepublik Deutschland politisch angreifen.
Here in the metropolis of Bundesrepublik, FRG, many leftist Turkish and Kurdish activists are imprisoned because they are also politically attacked the economic and military cooperation of Turkey and Germany. One of them is Musa Aşoğlu, who has been sentenced to 6.9 years in prison. Good? Okay.
Okay. Er ist seit 5 Jahren einer starken Zensur ausgesetzt, sodass er seine Stimme nur eingeschränkt, zum Beispiel für Ali Osman Kose, erheben kann. Die Bundesrepublik ist nach der USA der wichtigste Verbündete der Türkei. Das heißt, ohne die deutsche Unterstützung würde die jetzige faschistische Regierung nicht existieren.
He is exposed to a strong censorship for 5 years so that he can raise his voice only limited, for example, for Ali Osman Kose. After the USA, Germany is Turkey's most important ally, which means that without German support, the current fascist government would not exist. Okay.
Es ist deshalb wichtig, sich auch hier in einem der Zentren des Imperialismus, sich für Mali Osman Kose zu engagieren. Freiheit für Ali Osman Kose, Freiheit für alle politischen Gefangenen, hoch die internationale Solidarität, Netzwerk für alle politischen Gefangenen, Hamburg.
Therefore, it is important to get involved for Ali Osman Kose also here in one of the centers of imperialism. Freedom for Ali Osman Kose, freedom for all political prisoners. Long live international solidarity. Network Freedom for All Political Prisoners, Hamburg.
We are thankful for participation of political prisoners with network on Hamburg. We will continue for our program with a comrade from Philippines, from the mic from Migrante Austria. He will express also the solidarity and tell some things also about the situation in Philippines and all the situation about the fascism of Duterte. Hello, comrade. He is live with us. Hello, Mike. Are you hear us? Mike? Okay, no problem. If he, Mike, wants some time, we can continue our program with one more eyewitness, Deniz Yildirim. He was an eyewitness of okay. Mike came. Okay. Mike came. Okay. Hello, Mike. You can start your speak. We give the floor to you.
Password ulit. Hello, greetings to all. In behalf of Bishop Ablon, I will read the statement of Bishop Ablon for the political prisoner in Turkey. Republic of Turkey, Ministry of Justice in Forensic Medicine, Institute, Tergadog type of prison. Ali Osman Kose suffers from the many health problems such as neurological problem, disease related to circulatory system, hypertension, hearing loss of balance in the stomach problem, the visual distribute due to long-term condemnation, imprisonment, and torture has been subjected to during imprisonment in the isolation to applied for the last 20 years. He cannot meet the basic need and wants. Despite of this, the Forensic Medicine Institute decided he can stay in the prison altars of 9-centimeter cancerous cyst. It was the right of Kidney and Forensic Medicine Institute provide Ali Osman Kose a PIT report. He was operated 31 of May 2021 in his cancerous kidney. He was improved. No treatment is applied after the surgery, and the health check are still done. Metastasis of the cancer intimated lying appropriate in the post-operational treatment means condemning Ali Osman Kose to the death. Chemotherapy and radiotherapy and the other different treatment protocol option accepted worldwide should be evaluated. Treatment should be assumed continue until the danger to its health eradicated. It is not feasible to treat the cancer in isolation in the prison condition. Execution of the sentence can be always be implemented, but treatment cannot be delayed. He should be treated immediately. Ali Osman Kose must be released immediately. Yours, Reverend Antonio Ablon, Coordinator of Europe Network Justice and Peace in the Philippines. Thank you very much. On behalf of Bishop Ablon, this is Mike from Migrante, Austria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mike. Mike from Migrante in Austria, as he said, he mentioned here the text from Bishop Adonio Noablon, coordinator of European Network for Justice and Peace in the Philippines. We will continue our program giving the floor to Dennis Yildiz, eyewitness for a massacre of 19 December in Umre prison. He will speak in Turkish. We will have translation, direct translation to English. Deniz abi merhaba. Senin konuş...
Merhaba.
Deniz abi merhaba. Senin
Deniz
konuşmanı
Yıldız.
başlatabilirsin.
Sesim geliyor mu bu arada?
Hoş geldin. Duydun mu?
Merhaba, sesim geliyor mu?
Evet abi, sesin geliyor. Tamam.
Tamam.
Başlayabilirsin.
Tamam, başlayayım zaten. Benden önce Ayten abla ve İhsan abi konuştu aslında. İhsan abinin ne dediğini tam anlayamadım ama Ayten ablanın söyledikleri hemen hemen aynı şeyleri belki söyleyeceğiz veyahut da benzer şeyleri söyleyeceğiz. Çünkü ikimiz de aynı hapishanedeydik, Ümraniye Hapishanesi'ndeydik.
Yes, I didn't really understand what Ihsan abi said and before, but I could understand what Ayten Öztürk said because also I was in the same prison. I will speak also something about Ümraniye prison where I had been during this massacre. And hello to everybody again here.
Adım Deniz Yıldız, Ümraniye Hapishanesi'nde kalıyordum. Ölüm orucu 3. ekibindeydim.
I was in the Ümraniye prison during the massacre. I was in the 3rd group of the death fast resistance in this time.
19 Aralık'ta neler yaşadık, bunları anlatacağım. 19 Aralık'ın amacı ve hedefi neydi, onlardan biraz bahsedeceğim.
I want to speak about what we had experienced in this operation, this massacre, and about what happened there and what was going on.
İlk önce şunu değinmek gerekiyor. 19 Aralık katliamı öncesi Türkiye faşizmi, Ecevit yönetimi Amerika emperyalizmine gitmişti, icazet almıştı.
First of all, I want to mention. Sorry, the voice. I would like to mention that this project and this attack in the prisons in Turkey, this was a project or attack that was guided by the U.S. imperialism towards the prisoners.
19 Aralık katliamı kararı NATO karargahında almıştı.
The decision for this attack was taken by the NATO.
IMF politikalarını Türkiye'de uygulayabilmek için ilk önce devrimci tutsakların sesi kesilmeliydi.
In order to implement IMF policies in Turkey, it was first necessary to silence political prisoners.
Ecevit'in Türkiye'ye dönüşünde uçaktan inerken söylediği bir söz vardı ki bugün hala akıllarımızda.
When Ecevit was returning from the US and came down with the plane, the first sentence he said was, "Today there is still a problem in the prisons."
Türkiye hapishanelerindeki devrimci tutsakların sesi kesilmeliydi.
The voices of the political prisoners in Turkey, they have to be suffocated.
Evet, yani 19 Aralık'ın ana teması ve emperyalizm ve faşizmin Türkiye'de uygulamak istediği politikayı devrimci tutsaklar ilk önce karşı çıkacağı için.
Because they would be the first who would confront these policies of imperialism and fascism in Turkey, and the policies they wanted to implement. So this was necessary to first silence them. Okay. Alo?
Deniz abinin sesi gelmiyor. Koptu mu? Bağladı ki belki. We can wait for a little. We can wait for a little if he join. If not, we can continue and he will join when he recreates the internet connection. Tamam. Abi. Okay, maybe it was some problems with connection of Dennis Yildiz. We will recreate this connection, maybe because his out has some internet problems. Let has one song from Group Euro, from İhsan Çibelik, and will recreate his internet connection. Tamam. Abi senin sesi geliyor mu? Konuşabilir misin?
Geliyor sesim.
Tamam, çok iyi. Tekrar başlayabilirsin.
Tamam. Kaldığımız yerden devam edelim. 19 Aralık'ın ana temasını anlattık aslında da 19 Aralık'ta neler yaşadık? Oraya biraz değinmek istiyoruz. Sonuçta hepimizin zamanında kısa galiba. 10 dakikalık bir süremiz var.
Yes, so actually I have said already the main issue from this massacre. So I would like to speak about what we have experienced in this time.
19 Aralık günü operasyon saat 5'te başladı. Operasyon sesine uyandık. Arkadaşlar operasyon başladı diye. Çok kısa bir sürede üstümüzü giyinip hazırlandık.
So the operation that they had started at 5 in the morning, and so we wake up with this voice. One comrade said, "Comrades, the operation has started," and then we had only a little time to prepare ourselves for it.
Kalkar kalkmaz hemen barikatlarımızı kurduk. Hazırdık çünkü operasyona. Barikatlarımızı kurduk ve direnmeye başladık.
So when we woke up, when we got up, we directly started to build the barricades because we were prepared. We knew this would happen, and so we just started to resist.
Bizler ölüm orucunda olduğumuz için biraz arka planda kalıyorduk. Koruma amaçlı yoldaşlarımız bizi koruyordu.
Since we have been, we were a bit in the background as the death fastest because our comrades, they had protected us, so we were a little bit more in the back.
Direniş sırasında sürekli yaralanan arkadaşlar geliyordu.
And
ve
during
onların pardon.
But constantly there came comrades who were injured by the attack.
Ve onların tedavileriyle ilgileniyorduk.
So we
Bunlar
looked
bunlar kurşun yarası ve bomba yarasıydı.
So they were insured by the bullets and by the gas bombs, and we treated them.
4 gün süren, 4 uzun gün süren bir direniş. 19 Aralık açısından sadece katliam değil, bir tarafta da direniş var. Onu da belirtmek gerekiyor özel olarak. Sadece katliam olarak geçiyor. Onu özel olarak belirtmek istiyorum.
And especially I want also to stress that when we speak about the massacre, this was operation going on for 4 days. It was from 19 until 22nd of December, so 4 days massacre. It was not just a massacre because we resisted, and it was also a resistance, and this I wanted to stress as well. It was a massacre but also resistance.
Evet, bir tarafta faşizm vardı, bir tarafta da devrimci tutsaklar vardı. Devrimci tutsaklar Türkiye halklarına umuttu. Türkiye halklarının en direngen yanıydı. Faşizm tüm acımasız, tüm silahlarıyla saldırıyordu.
And there were two sides. The one was fascism and the other was the revolutionary prisoners. And they were all the hope of the peoples in Turkey. So they resisted with all their power while fascism went against them with all their arms and with all their weapons and their technology.
Faşizm devrimci tutsakları hem fiziki hem ideolojik olarak yok etmeye gelmişti 19 Aralık'ta.
Sorry, excuse me. Bir daha, pardon?
19 Aralık'ta faşizm devrimci tutsakları hem fiziki hem ideolojik olarak yok etmeyi hedefliyordu.
So fascism wanted to destroy both physically and ideologically the revolutionary prisoners.
Devrimci tutsaklar buna hazırlıklıydı ve faşizmin bu saldırısını direnerek, yoldaşlarını sahiplenerek Türkiye halklarına umut oldu 19 Aralık'ta.
So the revolutionary prisoners were ready for that, they were prepared for that, and they had been a hope for their comrades, for all the people when they resisted this attack.
Bizler 19 Aralık'ta neden direndik? Geleneğimizden gelen, Türkiye'deki faşizmin en yoğun hapishanelere saldırdığı için bizler o gün Türkiye halklarına umut olmak için kendimizi feda ettik.
And we had been in the resistance, and we have sacrificed our lives for remaining along with the tradition of struggle, of resistance in Turkey, to give hope to the people. And so we resisted and we sacrificed ourselves.
Türkiye faşizmin o gün kullandığı gazların bazılarını hala bilmiyoruz. Nasıl bir gaz olduğunu bilmiyoruz. Hala buna cevap verilemedi.
There is still no answer about which kind or which sort of gas bombs that the state used against us in this time. It's unknown.
Ümraniye hapishanesinde o direnişte 5 şehit verdik. Bunlardan ilki Ahmet İvili'ydi.
We gave 5 martyrs in the Ümraniye prison, and one of those was Ahmet İvili.
Ercan Polat kurşun yarasıyla, yani silahlı ateş şehit düştü. Umut Gedik bu gazlardan kaynaklı şehit düştü.
Ercan Polat was felt martyr by a bullet of the soldiers. He was killed by a bullet, and Umut Gedik also he died from the gas bomb, from the attack by the gas bombs.
Alp Akçagöz yine ateşli silahla kafasından vurularak şehit düştü.
Alp Akçagöz was shot in the head with a gun.
Rıza arkadaşımız, yoldaşımızla, o da kurşun yarasıyla daha sonra birkaç gün sonra hastanede şehit düştü.
And Riza Poras, he was also shot with with a gun, with bullets, and a few days later he died from his injuries in the hospital.
Ve içerideki tüm hemen hemen devrimci tutsaklar bir şekilde ateşli silahla veyahut da saçma yarasıyla yaralandı. Birçoğumuz.
And most of the political prisoners, most of the prisoners inside have been injured by the bullets either or by other injuries, by being burned by the bombs, etc.
Şu sayıyı şu rakamı vermek istiyorum çünkü 19 Aralık'taki faşizm gerçeğini iyi algılayabilmek için.
So in order to understand the reality of fascism well, I want to give such numbers now related to that operation.
19 Aralık katliamında Türkiye faşizmi kullandığı asker sayısı Kıbrıs Savaşı'nda daha fazladır.
The number of soldiers that fascism in Turkey used for this 19 December operation were more than they had used in the Cyprus war, actually.
Kullandığı kurşun ve bomba sayısı kat ve kat fazladır. Yani bir savaştan daha fazla kurşun ve bomba kullanılmıştır hapishanede.
They have used even more bullets and more gas bombs in this prison operation than it would be used in a war. So they used it against the prisoners.
Türkiye'deki hapishanelerde düşünün. Biz Türkiye'nin hapishanelerindeyiz. Elimizde herhangi bir kullanabileceğimiz silah, herhangi bir şey yok. Ama faşizm kendi hapishanesine silah ve bombayla giriyor.
Yes. Imagine that we are as the prisoners, we have nothing in our hands, we have no arms, no weapons, nothing, but the state attacks us with all its power and with all its military equipment inside there.
Bu şu anlama geliyor. Devrimci tutsakları sadece yok etmek değil, tamamen ideolojik olarak yok etmeyi hedeflemiştir. Ve bundan kaynaklı da bu büyük saldırıyı gerçekleştirmiştir.
So that's why, because they didn't only want to physically destroy the political revolutionary prisoners, they wanted to ideologically destroy them, to finish them, and so therefore they used such a big operation to aim this to succeed it.
Evet, 19 Aralık 19-22 Aralık 22 Aralık günü bizi Ümraniye Hapishanesi'nden çıkardılar, F-tiplerine götürdüler ve her şeyin biteceğini düşündüler.
So they have taken us out from this Ümraniye prison and take us to the F-type cells after this operation, and that
Ve F-tiplerine geçtiğimizde dünyanın en uzun direnişini örgütleyerek zafer kazandık.
And when we were brought to these F-type cells, we have put on the day the most greatest resistance, the best resistance that lasted for the longest time to counter this policy.
7 yılda 122 şehit vererek zaferi Türkiye halklarına armağan ettik.
We gave 122 martyrs and we presented that to the peoples in Turkey, to the peoples in the world and in Turkey with this resistance.
Türkiye hapishanelerinde hala saldırılar devam ediyor. Hiçbir zaman kesilmedi. Devrimci tutsaklara yönelik her dönem saldırı devam etti. Ve bu direnişten sonra Grup Yorum'un, Halkın Hakları'nın ölüm orucu vardı. Ve onlar devam ettirdi. Bugün Sibel devam ettiriyor.
And after all this resistance and the 19 December and the death fast, it continued in Turkey as well. And there were also the resistances of the people's lawyers, of the music group Kupiyorum, and now today we have also Sibel Balac, a teacher who is in the death fast recently.
Son olarak şunu söylemek istiyorum. Devrimci tutsaklar Türkiye halklarına her dönem umut olmuştur ve bugün de umut olmaya devam ediyor. Bugün de direniyor. Türkiye halklarına umut olmaya devam ediyor. En direngen yanı olduğu için direnişi ve faşizme karşı en önde savaşıyor.
And still today, the prisoners, the revolutionary prisoners, are still the hope for all the people. They continue to resist. They continue to resist, and everywhere on all the places. And well, they didn't give in to this.
Son olarak da Ali Osman Kose'ye özgürlük diyor ve bitiriyor.
And then finally, I want to say as well, freedom for Ali Osman Kose, and finish my speech. Of course, for giving the floor to me to speak here in this conference.
Teşekkürler.
Thank you.
Biz de çok teşekkür ederiz Deniz abi. We are really thankful about the eyewitness Deniz Yildiz. He spoke about the Umrani prison. He will participate also. We continue with Group Yorum song.
Şimdi bir şarkıyla daha bu konferansa katılmak istiyorum. Bu şarkı da yine bu büyük direnişte kendini feda eden ölüm orucu direnişçilerinden Günay Öğrener'e ait. Günay Öğrener'in kendini feda etmeden önce yazdığı vasiyetinde geçen sözler. This song belongs to Death Fasters, one of Death Fasters, Günay Öğrener. She has a testament before she sacrificed herself. We took this testament and we created our lyrics from this testament. And in the memory of all the comrades, all martyr comrades, I will play it. Saçlarımı al Karadeniz, hırçın dalgalar tarasın. Aç bağrını ey Anadolu, sar göğsüne sen anasın. Sekiz demir kapı ardında tuzak, insandan, topraktan, hayattan uzak. 18 demir kapı ardından tuzak. İnsandan, topraktan, hayattan uzak. Yüreği alevden bir kız, yanıyordu yıldız yıldız. Bir ses oldu gökyüzüne, çığlığı deniz. Seçtim içeride bedenim kutsal, dışarıda düşlerim kutsal. İçeride bedenim kutsal, dışarıda düşlerim kutsal. Umutsuzluk bize yasak. Kapıları yakıp geldim, alevlerin isyanı. Umudu kuşanıp geldim, sıcaklığın sevda. Kapıları yakıp geldim, alevlerin isyanı. Umudu kuşanıp geldim, sıcaklığın sevda. Mezarıma güller dikin, bir de mimoza. Kokusu umut olsun bahara yazar. Mezarıma güller dikin, bir de mimoza. Kokusu umut olsun bahara yazar. Bu ayrılık değil canım, susamışa su vermektir. Vatanını derya deniz sevebilmektir. Tespih Sırat köprüsünden ince, onurumuz candan önce. Sırat köprüsünden ince, onurumuz candan önce. Sevdam büyür direnince. Kapıları yakıp geldim, alevlerim isyandı. Umudu kuşanıp geldim, sıcaklığım sevdam. Kapıları yakıp geldim, alevlerim isyandı. Umudu kuşanıp geldim, sıcaklığım sevdam.
We will continue. Thank you. First of all, we are thinking very much about the group Europe song. We will have also one more. We will continue and we will give the floor to Sandra Trafilov. Yanes is from Mapuche, is a militant from Mapuche. Send us a message for solidarity. It's a video message in Spanish with Greek, with English subtitles. Sandra is ex-political prisoner of Pinochet junta. She is communist militant and union leader and from mother of peasant origin, state textile worker. Sandra lived from very young the persecution he suffered his own family after the military coup of 1973. As many people that many struggles and revolutionaries in Chile, and also very specific about the Mapuchean people and all the attack that they have from Chilean state. In 1978, at the age of 13, she joined communist youth. Soon it was involved in resistance activities within the combat units. And after the operating groups, before becoming one of the first members of the Zero Front, the forerunner of the Front Patriotic, Manuel Rodriguez, who joined 18 years old as soon as possible on December 14, 1983. Organization of Armed Resistance, the FPMR was the spreadhead of the PC strategy to face the dictatorship by all the media and causing their fall through popular rebellion of masses. A year later, at the age of 19, she received a blast during the confrontation with the police, where she escaped riddle of death. She imprisoned during the next 7 years. She became the spokesman of the Rodriguistas fighters, and detained and wrote poems that were subsequently published. In 1991, the so-called government of democratic transition offered to change the condemnation of it perpetually chained by the penalty of suppress to a third country. Sandra refused and spent another year in prison. Being released, she continued in the Association of Ex-Political Prisoners and Socialist Active. The active participates in human rights organizations. At the same time, she worked as a journalist and social communicator while she is writing. Since October of 19 October 2019, when the social revolt began in Chile, it followed the street demonstration and formed them in programs issues through the social networks, where he spoke reality of the territories until she was attacked to a car of police, and it was seriously injured in the left arm. Finally, she collaborates with several associations, and she is a member of the collective Daughters of the Rebellion, dedicated to safeguarding the memory of resistance. She is also part of the committee of family, friends, and companions of Mauricio Hernandez Navarrete, known as Commander Ramiro, hero of the resistance to for the dictatorship that follows prisoners in Chile. Let's put her video, Sandra Trarle from Mapuche Militant.
Al cumplirse 21 años de la masacre de 28 compañeros prisioneros políticos y prisioneras políticas en las cárceles de Turquía, en momentos que se resistieron a ser trasladados a celdas de máximo aislamiento y donde 6 de nuestras hermanas fueron quemadas vivas al interior de sus celdas, solo resta conmemorar esta fecha a través de la resistencia activa contra nuestro enemigo común, el Gran Capital, conectando desde todos los territorios la recuperación de la memoria histórica y la lucha. Un saludo combativo también a nuestro hermano Osman Kose, que hoy da duras batallas contra el cáncer en el contexto de duras condiciones carcelarias. En este 19 de diciembre, abrazos, salud y victoria a nuestros pueblos en resistencia. Amolepe, Taín, Huaychán, la lucha continúa porque vamos por todo. Libertad a todas y todos los prisioneros políticos sin condiciones. Marichihuel.
We continue our program with a live participant from Anti-Imperialist Action in Ireland, Martin Hogan, for the youth movement. Hello Martin, hello comrade. You can start your speak. Thank you for your participation. Ben şöyle
Can everyone hear me, yeah?
Hello, comrade. You can start to speak. You can open your camera, your microphone. You are on air.
Perfect. Comrades, before I begin today, on behalf of the Socialist Republican Mass Organisation, Anti-Imperialist Action Ireland, I'd like to thank the organisers and the Ali Osman Kose Freedom Committee for giving us the great honour of speaking here to you all tonight at this conference, as we remember the 19th of December prison massacre carried out against revolutionary prisoners in Turkey by the armed forces of the fascist Turkish state between December 19 and December 22nd, 2000, in which 30 revolutionary prisoners were killed. Firstly, tonight I'd like to highlight the ongoing situation of the prisoners of war here in Ireland. 40 years on from the 1981 hunger strikes, in which 10 revolutionary Irish Republican prisoners gave their lives in the H block cages of Longkesh and hunger strike, not much has changed here in Ireland. Republican prisoners are not a thing of the past, although Britain's puppets in the Free State administration and in their colonial statehood in the occupied 6 counties have people believe otherwise, as they continue to portray the war against British rule in Ireland as a thing of the past and continue to attempt to normalise Britain's illegal presence here in Ireland. Currently in 2021, as we approach the new year, there are currently over 50 Republican prisoners both north and south of Britain's illegal border in Ireland. Most of these prisoners of war have gone through non-jury courts, a system where state judges decide their fate instead of a jury, and where belief evidence, which is nothing more than the word of a senior cop, is used to secure conviction. This practice, which has continuously been condemned and opposed by socialist Republicans and various human rights organisations as a denial of basic human rights. These men and women are languishing in these cells today for one reason and one reason only, because they dare to continue resisting against British imperialist rule in Ireland, while so-called Republicans chose to turn a blind eye and even cozied up to British imperialism so that they may have their seat at the table of the rich and powerful. Secondly, on behalf of Anti-Imperialist Action Ireland, I would like to send our solidarity to Ali Osman Kose and all revolutionary prisoners across the world. Anti-Imperialist Action Ireland called for the immediate release of all revolutionary prisoners of war in Ireland and across the world. In the coming weeks, our youth wing, massacre Irish Social Republican Youth, through poster and information stalls across the capital city of Ireland, Dublin, and in other areas throughout the country, plan to highlight the situation of Ali, who has now been imprisoned for 37 years by the fascist Turkish state. Through this posting and information stalls, our young comrades will engage with members of the public across the capital city and in other areas and discuss the situation in Turkey with members of the public. Solidarity with the revolution in Turkey and with all revolutionary people's wars and national liberation struggles across the globe, from Palestine to Turkey to India. Gurmila Margut, Chucky Arlaw.
Thank you, comrade, for your participation. Martin Hogan for Adverlist Action in Ireland youth movement, very important because the big struggle of Irish political prisoners, the Irish political prisoners, all the martyrs that give in the big hunger strikes, we will never forget. It's a very big example of revolutionary struggle inside the prisons, because they fight for recognized for British state to be like a political prisoner. This is very important. We continue with Fabiola Alcazar, Committee of Relatives of Operation Olympus from Peru. Fabiola sent us a video participation because of time, the difference of time. She will speak in Spanish. We will have English subtitles.
Buenas tardes, compañeros. Desde el Perú extendemos un cálido y profundo saludo a todos los participantes en este importante y necesario evento. Antes que nada, permítanme disculparme en primer lugar por no poder dar la cara el día de hoy. Esto es debido únicamente a la persecución política que existe en mi país y que pone en riesgo mi libertad. Hoy vemos en el Perú cómo se ha barrido prácticamente con el Estado de Derecho, con el derecho garantista que debe aplicarse a cualquier ciudadano. En nuestro país se aplica el derecho penal del enemigo contra comunistas, contra dirigentes populares, contra luchadores sociales, contra dirigentes sindicales, organizaciones políticas y hoy ya se ha extendido al pueblo en general, al pueblo que sale a luchar en defensa de sus derechos fundamentales. En el caso de los comunistas, por ejemplo, hemos visto cómo el Estado peruano, después de asesinar al doctor Abimael Guzmán, producto de estar aislado e incomunicado durante largos 29 años y condenado de manera ilegal a cadena perpetua, le ha negado el derecho al entierro, cuestión básica humana. Han impedido que sus restos mortales sean entregados a su esposa, la profesora Elena Iparraguirre. Han secuestrado su cuerpo, lo han incinerado y desaparecido sus cenizas. Han emitido una ley que han aplicado de manera retroactiva con el doctor y que en el futuro los autoriza a hacer lo mismo con todos los comunistas que mueran en prisión. Años atrás vimos morir a Margie Clavo Peralta, dirigente también, con un cáncer no tratado y a pesar de estar ya desahuciada, tratada de manera cruel e inhumana en el hospital. Hoy, la prisionera política y de guerra Margot Liendo Gil, con más de 30 años de prisión, se encuentra hospitalizada con serios problemas de salud que ponen en peligro su vida. Ella se encuentra impedida de ser vista por sus amigos y por sus familiares. A pesar de que la prisionera Margot Liendo ya cumplió su condena, el Estado peruano la volvió a juzgar, incluyéndola en un nuevo juicio con el único objetivo de negarle su libertad. Por lo cual, hoy se está exigiendo que se le trate como un ser humano, cuestión que el Estado niega a quien se levantó en armas para subvertir el orden. Y eso no se condice con un Estado que se jacta de democrático. Hoy se plantea defender la vida y salud de la prisionera política Margot Liendo. Y en el caso de los activistas por derechos fundamentales y luchadores sociales, el caso Olimpo es una muestra de lo anteriormente expuesto. 25 de los 77 que fueron detenidos continúan presos y se les ha puesto una prisión preventiva pese a que no existe ni prueba ni indicio de haber cometido delito alguno. Acusados de pertenecer a una organización terrorista sin hechos violentos realizados, ni bien jurídico violentado. Sin planes ni en el presente ni a futuro. 4 de ellos siguen detenidos al día de hoy, a pesar de que la sala cambió su prisión preventiva por arresto domiciliario. Y que los 4 son personas ya de tercera edad y con su salud bastante resquebrajada. Todo esto nos hace ver que en nuestro país se persigue por ideas. Pensar diferente es un delito. Organizarse por la defensa de los derechos fundamentales del pueblo, quieren convertirlo en un delito. Es de esta manera que quieren inocular la idea de que un grupo de ciudadanos no tiene derechos, ya sea por su pasado, por su manera de pensar, por luchar contra el sistema, es una persona que no merece ser tratada como tal. En el Perú no hay libertad de expresión. La memoria histórica está perseguida, negada de expresarse. Un único pensamiento es aceptable. Al Perú se le niega el derecho de cerrar heridas y entrar a su bicentenario como una nación reconciliada. Hoy, las fuerzas más reaccionarias y recalcitrantes de la sociedad peruana, la ultraderecha, tiene manifestaciones de raíz fascista y está empeñada en impedir que un nuevo contrato social se imponga en el país. Luego de 30 años de neoliberalismo, negador de derechos, sin salud ni educación de calidad, y con más de 200.000 muertos en menos de año y medio producto de la pandemia, el pueblo peruano ha decidido que estamos en un momento constituyente, que es necesario avanzar en cambiar esta constitución impuesta el año 93 con el golpe de estado de Alberto Fujimori, y que es la que ha servido de base a todos los presidentes que se han tenido hasta la fecha, todos ellos procesados por corrupción. La ultraderecha está empeñada en defender con todo su constitución y no duda en usar todo lo que tenga a la mano como arma para impedirlo. Su arma más eficaz es el derecho penal del enemigo, una legislación nacida en tiempos de guerra que sigue intacta a pesar de que la guerra ya terminó. Esta y no otra es la contradicción hoy que está a la orden del día en nuestro país, en la colusión y pugna entre las facciones que están en el poder y que se debaten dentro de ella. Como familiares, consideramos que la lucha anticapitalista, antiimperialista, es fundamental para construir un mundo nuevo. Un nuevo orden socialista de carácter proletario es indispensable, y los pueblos deben forjar su propio camino. Entre tanto, sabemos que debemos luchar por democratizar nuestras sociedades, por recuperar derechos, beneficios y conquistas, y ¿por qué no?, conquistar nuevos derechos. Debemos exigir que se respete el derecho a opinar, el derecho a la libre expresión, a la organización, el derecho a la creación artística sin restricciones de ningún tipo. Debemos defender el derecho a pensar diferente, a ser de izquierda y participar en la vida política de nuestro país. Es por esto, compañeros, que el día de hoy agradecemos profundamente la invitación que nos han hecho llegar para participar en este evento suyo y llamamos a todos los pueblos a unirnos en el frente antiimperialista, anticapitalista y a seguir luchando por la libertad de todos los presos políticos revolucionarios del mundo sin cejar, pues su libertad es un derecho. Y nos unimos este 19 de diciembre en el homenaje que realizan a los presos políticos muertos en Turquía el año 2000. También nos solidarizamos con sus luchas y llevaremos siempre en nuestros corazones transformadores y en nuestras denuncias a Ibrahim Goshek, a Ebru Timtik, a Helin Bolek, pues la sangre derramada por los revolucionarios del mundo no son otra cosa que acicate y fuerza por seguir luchando en el camino que ellos ayudaron a labrar. Seguir su ejemplo es el mejor homenaje que podemos hacerles. Por eso decimos, con convicción, luchar por la libertad de todos los presos políticos revolucionarios del mundo. Solidaridad con las luchas del pueblo turco. Solidaridad con las luchas de los pueblos del mundo. Muchas
We have this meaningful message from Peru, from Fabiola Alcazar, from Committees of Relative of Operation Olympus. We will continue. We will give the floor to Charlotte Case from Samidun Network, Comrade Charlotte Case. She will speak. We have her live here with us, and this is very important. She will speak about the huge resistance of Palestinian prisoners, the heroic resistance of Palestinian general people, and also the prisoners until also still have a hunger strike inside the prisons of Israelis because the Zionism still attack all the Palestinian prisoners, and also they have many students prisoners, many women's prisoners, even children prisoners. The only state that they have is Israeli, and we will never stop to shout that we are fighting for Palestine from the river to the sea, for liberation for all political prisoners. Hello, Charlotte. You're welcome that you are here. You can start.
Greetings to all who are participating in this event on behalf of Sami Dune Palestinian Prisoner Solidarity Network and on behalf of the Palestinian Prisoners Movement. We thank the Ali Osman Kose Solidarity Committee for inviting us to be with you today, and we salute everyone who is here and who is participating to free Ali Osman Kose and to free all the revolutionary prisoners around the world who are struggling for justice, freedom, and liberation, and confronting imperialism, Zionism, capitalism, and all forms of repression. Between 19 and 22 December 2000, the Turkish military and police carried out a massive, brutal invasion targeting revolutionary political prisoners. These prisoners were engaged in an ongoing struggle, with many launching hunger strikes and death fasts against the attempt of the Turkish state to transform the prison system into an increasingly fascist regime of solitary confinement. This was an attempt to break the spirits of the prisoners, as well as their will and ability to organize and continue their struggle behind bars. Because those revolutionary forces could not be repressed, Turkish military forces deployed 10,000 soldiers and police and 20,000 grenades, gas canisters, and bombs on the prisons. 28 revolutionary prisoners were killed and hundreds were wounded. The massacre began almost immediately after the conclusion of a visit by the UN Committee for the Prevention of Torture to prisons in Turkey, and the Turkish military termed their assault on the prisons "return to life," falsely claiming that prisoners were being forced to participate in a hunger strike, rather than recognizing that the prisoners were on hunger strike in defense of themselves, their rights, and their revolutionary struggle. Today, we remember the martyrs of 19 December 2000 and the martyrs of the Palestinian prisoners movement and the martyrs of the struggles of prisoners around the world struggling for liberation behind bars. We salute their leadership, their resistance, and their commitment to liberation. The prisoners continue to lead our movements, our international movements for social justice, our international anti-imperialist movements. Despite the violent attacks of repressive forces, the denial of healthcare, and the extrajudicial executions that continue to take place behind bars in Turkey, as well as on the streets of Palestine at the hands of Israeli occupation forces. Ali Osman Kose is a revolutionary prisoner who has been jailed in Turkey for 37 years, sentenced to life imprisonment for his revolutionary ideas and actions, and now condemned in essence to death behind bars as he remains in prison despite his advanced cancer diagnosis and severe health problems. He not only suffers from cancer, but a number of other serious health problems and visual disturbances due to the long-term conditions of imprisonment and torture that he has been subjected to through 20 years of isolation and imprisonment behind bars. Every moment poses a further threat to his life. We join in the call of the movement to free Ali Osman Kose and all revolutionary prisoners. The denial of healthcare is a common factor in the oppression of political prisoners and revolutionary prisoners around the world. Since 1967, at least 226 Palestinian prisoners have died in Israeli occupation prisons. Of these, at least 76 of their lives were taken by the medical negligence of the Israeli occupation. Fellow Palestinian prisoners like Ishaq Maraga, Ali al-Zafari, and Rasim Fadawa were killed by forced feeding for their hunger strikes, or killed under torture like Ibrahim al-Rai, or shot dead by repressive forces like Muhammad al-Ashkar. This comes in addition to the uncounted number of Palestinian lives taken in the forced labor camps created by Zionist militias and the Zionist state during and following the Nakba in 1947 and 1948, when the majority of the Palestinian people were forced from their homes and lands into exile and into refugee camps. The denial of health care to Palestinian prisoners is a systematic part of the Zionist regime of oppression the Palestinian prisoners confront behind bars. They are given painkillers instead of treatment, denied necessary tests, and with serious diseases like cancer left to go untreated until they are fatal. We demand the freedom of all Palestinian prisoners, especially the sick and wounded strugglers who face a daily sentence of slow death due to systematic Zionist medical neglect and mistreatment. Today, there are 4,650 Palestinian political prisoners held in Israeli occupation jails. Of these, around 500 are imprisoned without charge or trial under administrative detention. There are 32 imprisoned women, 170 imprisoned children, and dozens of them are severely and chronically ill. As we speak today, Hisham Abu Hawash is on hunger strike for over 130 days to demand his release from administrative detention, imprisonment without charge or trial. Administrative detention was in fact first used in Palestine by the British colonial mandate and then adopted by the Zionist regime. It is now routinely used to target Palestinians, especially community leaders, activists, and people who are influential in organizing resistance to Israeli occupation in their towns, refugee camps, and villages. These administrative detention orders are indefinitely renewable, meaning that Palestinians may spend years at a time jailed without ever being charged or ever being tried, even in the so-called Israeli occupation military courts, which are themselves a farce of justice. As of 1st December 2022, Palestinian administrative detainees have announced a collective boycott of the military courts to defend their rights and demand their freedom. As we see, from Turkey to Palestine to the Philippines, to the strugglers of the Black Liberation Movement imprisoned in the United States, to the political prisoners of revolutionary struggles like George Abdullah, jailed in the prisons of Europe, the revolutionary prisoners remain leaders of the struggle and leaders of the resistance behind bars and leaders of our global movement. Among these leaders is Ahmed Sadat, the General Secretary of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, who was just yesterday, we marked the 13th anniversary of his sentence to 30 years behind bars in Israeli occupation prisons. And we invite all who are participating today to join us between 15 and 22 January 2022 in a week of action to free Ahmed Sadat and all Palestinian prisoners. We join the call to free Osman Kose and his fellow prisoners and to free the revolutionary prisoners of the world, those jailed by imperialism, Zionism, and fascist and reactionary regimes. We remember the martyrs of the prisoners, the revolutionaries, and the strugglers whose lives were taken by the forces of imperialism, Zionism, fascism, and reaction. We pledge today that the memories and legacy of the martyrs will live on in the struggle for liberation as we march together to free Palestine from the river to the sea, and as we march together for justice and liberation for all. Solidarity and salutes to all in the struggle for liberation from Samudun Palestinian Prisoner Solidarity Network.
We are thankful for participation of Charlotte Gates and Samudun Palestinian Prisoner Network. This is very important participation.
Recording in progress.
Why it's very important? Because it's really the same struggle of Palestinian prisoners and the political prisoners in Turkey and also in Europe and Greece and Germany, because this fight is really a fight against imperialism, Zionism, and fascism. Again, thank you, Charlotte. We will continue with Ali Osman Kose letter. We have Ali Osman Kose letter from prison for our conference. I will tell you some things about Ali Osman Kose. Ali Osman Kose is a political prisoner in Turkish prison for 37 years, 22 years in total isolation in F-type cell. He was been in the resistance of death fast. In 2000, he was an eyewitness of a massacre of 19th of December. He is in prison until the junta of 80s. He was still have so many health problems. He has diagnostic cancer mass in his kidney, and 12 centimeter, and so many other health problems because of isolation, like he cannot hear well, he cannot stand well, he can even make bath alone, he can even not eat alone, and he is still in isolation. International campaign has started for liberation for Ali Osman Kose. This conference also has it's also for extend his voice, to extend the voice of Ali Osman Kose to go out from prison. He is 37 years inside prison, 22 years total isolation, and fascist state of AKP don't let him go out, and he is inside the prison after the campaign. Really, because they don't let him go to the surgery, to make surgery after the international campaign and the press of all the soldier movement. He went to the surgery and he put out and they put out the cancer of the kidney, but the metastasis is also a fear for his life. We don't let Ali Osman Kose murder inside the prison of AKP fascism. We tell one more time here, we continue the international campaign in Turkey, in Europe also. This is also a demand for freedom for all political prisoners that they with health programs, like also in Turkey. Every time we see that AKP fascism murders 6 political prisoners inside the prison. It's also even the bourgeois law in Turkey must go out of prison because of health reasons. Also, the demand of the death fast resistance now that Sibel Balat is also sick prisoners, and also the demands of this death fast resistance is also to one of the demands to freedom for all political prisoners that they are sick and have health problems to take treatment outside. We will read this message as an honor that send a message for our conference. We will have also translation in Turkey, and we will start. I will start to read for you this message. We will say hello to December, the last month of 2021. When December is mentioned, of course, I remember the 1922 December of 2000, what I experienced in Janakale prison. I see dear Fintan making a victory sign with both hands. Everyone knows that there were many reasons for the December 19 attack and our resistance. What were they? Let me share the first thing that comes to my mind. Our 9th December resistance was the announcement for not accepting the F-type prisons which were built with the purpose to make surrender the prisoners by isolation and described under Article 16 of the anti-terrorism law, which came into force on March 12, 1991 as follows. Those convicted of crimes within the scope of this law are executed in private executions institutions built according to the sin and tribe room system. Our 9th December resistance was the resistance to one of the decisions taken in 1988 by the Anti-Terrorism Committee of NATO, the military power used by imperialism against the peoples of the world regarding the application of isolation and rehabilitating political prisoners. Our 19th December resistance was to build a barricade in front of the implementation of imperialist policies like breaking revolutionary prisoners, who are one of the moral values of our people, and to intimidate and disorganize our people. And this was also expected in the words of the Prime Minister Bülent Ecevit. The problem of prison must be solved for the implementation of IMF policies. Our 19th December resistance, as it was also convinced by the president of the time, Süleyman Demirel,
with the words, one of the constant agendas of the MGTA, National Security Council, meetings the problems of prisons. One was once again the declaration of the revolutionary leaders of the people, who emits from the heart of the people would not be destroyed. Our 9 December resistance was a declaration that even the cost of our lives, we would not accept the isolation attack which found its meaning in the words of the then Prime Minister, Lyndon Javid, on his trip to the USA after the Ulucalan massacre on September 26, 1999, in which 10 revolutionary prisoners were murdered. The state will place its authority in the prisons at any cost. The state will show its power. Because the isolation was only the physical and political attack, but also an ideological attack. Our 19 December resistance was not only to determine the future of the resistance, but turning the bodies of our resistors into fireball against the cause of imperialism and its collaborators to surrender, but also a strike blown against imperialism and collaborators with the peoples like Gültekin, Uğur, Sengül, Eyüp. Our 9 December resistance was a declaration that we would never surrender, while we built barricades through hand-to-hand combat and sacrifice at the cost of our life to oppose the attack that was carried out with 8 gendarme and commando battalions against 1,920 political prisoners in 20 prisons of our country. At 4:30 at night, 10,000 resistant military personnel in 36 different companies, thousands of police officers, more than 20,000 gas bombs, 10,000 bullets, contradiction equipment, fire trucks and helicopters. Our 19 December resistance was marked by not accepting surrender and even strengthened by resistance, despite the fact that the bodies of 6 women prisoners were melted down with chemicals and a total of 28 revolutionary prisoners were killed and hundreds were injured. Our 9th December resistance was a challenge to imperialism and its collaborators to death, with resistance that lasted 18 hours in Bayrampaşa, 56 hours in Çanakkale, and 83 hours in running against the attack, with the oligarchy boasted of carrying out the biggest operation after the separatist operation carried out in 1974. Our 19 December resistance was the dynamite fuse of our resistance, which made by the main enemy of the peoples of the world. US imperialism said, is there a resistance for several years, but they resisted, and it resulted in victory. In short, our 19 December resistance was the first session of the goal of the counter-revolution to break the revolutionary prisoners who were one of the moral values of the people, to liquidate the Marxist-Leninist organization, to intimidate and surrender our people, and thereby to prolong the life of their system. We bow once again to precious memories of our 122 people, especially our martyrs of December 19, who gave their lives for victory, and we say that we will stick to their memories. Ali Osman Kose.
Okay, we continue with Politeo Toll, Jericho Movement USA, to talk about Leonard Peltier and other political prisoners in the US. Hello, Polit, we have a participation live from USA. Hello, comrade. Okay, we continue with Politeo Toll, Jericho Movement USA, to talk about Leonard Peltier and other political prisoners in the US. Hello, Polit, we have a participation live from USA. Hello, comrade.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, Polit, you can start to speak. Yeah, you're live.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, comrade.
We continue with Politeo Toll, Jericho Movement USA, to talk about Leonard Peltier and other political prisoners in the US. Hello, Polit, we have
Yeah, you can start, Polit.
Thank you very much.
Hello, comrade.
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, Polit, you can start to speak. Yeah, you're live.
Thank you very much
Thank you, comrade.
for the opportunity to bring solidarity to the martyrs of the December 19th, 22nd massacre. The Jericho movement would like to offer solidarity to their families. And
Thank you very much. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Thank you. Hello? Yes. Yeah, Polit, you can start to speak. Yeah, you're live. Thank you very much for the opportunity to bring solidarity to the martyrs of the December 19th.
We have to stop because intervention. Sorry. Please, can you close your microphone on the other device, Paulette, because otherwise we have the noise from your background here, and it's not possible to hear you. You should close the voice of your device from YouTube or something. Otherwise, we can hear that.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to bring solidarity to the martyrs of the December 19th.
We have to stop because intervention.
You'll have to mute me. I can't mute it
The
here.
other device, Paulette, because otherwise we have the noise from your background here.
You'll have to mute me. I can't mute it here.
All right. I think you can speak, Paulette. That's fine.
Can we try now?
Yes, it's great.
Hello, this is Paulette from.
All right. Comrade, can you close your YouTube and everything that you have your voice and speak only by Zoom? This is your problem.
I would like to thank you from the Jericho movement and bring solidarity to the families of the martyrs of the December 19th and 22nd movement in Turkey. Many of the problems.
Paulette from. All right.
Comrade, can you close your YouTube and everything that you have your voice and speak only by Zoom? This is your problem.
would like to thank you from the Jericho movement and bring solidarity to the families of the martyrs of the December 19th and 22nd movement in Turkey. Many of the problems. Paulette, all right, Lori, can you close your video and everything that you hear your voice and speak only by this is your problem. I would like to thank you from the
Paulette, you have some device open because you're the only one here inside. So that means you have anything running in the background.
No, I don't. I can't.
Everyone is muted here. Everybody is muted. So that means maybe you don't see it, but
I cannot get back on the.
Yeah, just let's mute and try to find this and. Paulette, you have some device open because you're the only one here inside. So that means you have anything running in the background.
No, I don't. I can't.
Everyone's muted here. Everybody's muted, so it means maybe you don't see it, but
I cannot get back on the.
Yeah. Just let's mute and try to find this and.
Okay. Paulette, can you start again to speak, please?
Everybody's muted, so maybe you don't see it, but
I cannot get back.
Just try to find this.
Okay.
Thank you for the invite. And this is Paulette from the Jericho movement in the United States, which of course is the belly of the beast. We send our solidarity from our prisoners, from the Black Liberation Movement political prisoners, as well as those from the Republic of New Africa, to the families of the martyrs of December 19th through the 22nd. Many of the problems that people have spoken about, especially. Thank you for the invite. And this is Paulette from the Jericho movement in the United States, which of course is the belly of the beast. We send our solidarity from our prisoners, from the Black Liberation Movement political prisoners, as well as those from the Republic of New Africa, to the families of the martyrs of December 19th through the 22nd. Many of the problems that people have spoken about, especially. Thank you for the invite. And this is Paulette from the Jericho movement in the United States, which of course is the belly of the beast. We send our solidarity from our prisoners, from the Black Liberation Movement political prisoners, as well as those from the Republic of New Africa, to the families of the martyrs of December 19th through the 22nd. Many of the problems that people have spoken about, especially. Thank you for the And many of the problems of the medical lack of medical attention is also shown here in the United States. Our dear comrade Mutulu Shakur, who is suffering from bone cancer, as well as Sundiata Kohli, who is now in his 80s and is suffering also from early onset Alzheimer's. We'd like to say that these problems are not known, but are actually the problems of all our political prisoners throughout the world. Lack of medical attention is also shown here in the United States. Our dear comrade Mutulu Shakur, who is suffering from bone cancer, as well as Sundiata Kohli, who is now in his 80s and is suffering also from early onset Alzheimer's. Leonard Peltier, that these problems are not known, but are actually the problems of all our political prisoners throughout the world. Lack of medical attention is also shown here in the United States. Our dear comrade Mutulu Shakur, who is suffering from bone cancer, as well as Sundiata Kohli, who is now in his 80s and is suffering also from early onset Alzheimer's. Leonard Peltier are not known, but are actually is also shown here in the United States.
Comrade, Paulette, you must, okay, you must close the YouTube you have opened, YouTube, and it's coming to voices.
I cannot get back there.
Okay. Okay, we can a little bit continue the program. If you want the time to find what is the problem, you must close everything.
But if I do, I will lose you.
No.
Here it is, okay.
You must
Do it and come back to us. Maybe that's possible, maybe. You go out and come in again by the same link. You just enter the same link. We just go shortly out, close the phone, everything, and just open the Zoom. That's the...
Okay. Is that better now?
Yeah.
I close YouTube.
Bravo. Okay.
I would like to pick up with the discussion around Leonard Peltier.
Okay, Paulette, but because we lost so much time, if you, we are really sorry if you can make it a little bit shorter.
Okay,
thank you very much.
So quickly, I would like to say that Leonard Peltier and Mumia Abu Jamal, both older prisoners, are also in the process of having medical problems that are not answered by either the Bureau of the Prison or the state of Pennsylvania. We would like to build international solidarity with the Jericho movement to express our solidarity with our comrades throughout the world and the whole question of political prisoners and how we can better serve them. Thank you so much, and free them all, free all political prisoners, and free the land. Thank you from the United States.
Thank you very much, Comrade Paulette, for this speech. Okay, we had some technical problems, but the most important it was that we have also participation from USA, and because the imperial states of United States of America is the mind of making the isolation cells, like mentioned by also in the first speech, and also by Osman, and also by Comrade Paulet. She talked about Leonard Peltier and other political prisoners in USA, mentioned also about Mumia Abu Jamal. Normally we had before Mike Africa from Committee of Mumia Abu Jamal and Family and Friends Committee, but he cannot participate today. So we will go to close our conference again with Ayten Öztürk. She will mention some things about Maraş massacre and the Roposki massacre, and also about the Death Fast resistance now. And we will have also Group Yorum song again, and we will close the program.
Tamam, Ayten abla konuşabilirsin tekrardan.
Tekrar merhaba. 19 Aralık hapishaneler katliamını unutmadığımız gibi faşizmin Alevi ve Kürt halkına yönelik Maraş ve Roboski katliamlarını da unutmuyoruz.
Hello again. Just as we didn't forget the 19 December prison massacre, we also didn't forget the massacres towards the Kurdish people and the Alevi people in Maraş and in Roboski.
Maraş katliamı da 19 Aralık ile 26 Aralık 1978'de Kahramanmaraş'ta meydana geldi. Alevilere yönelik bir katliamdı.
So the Maraş massacre has also happened between the 19th and the 26th of December in 1978 in Kahramanmaraş, and it was a massacre towards the Alevite people.
Bir hafta sürdü katliam. 120 insan katledildi.
Evet, en son
ve Alevilerden 100'e yakın 200'ün üzerinde ev yakıldı. 100'e yakın iş yeri de tahrip edildi o gün.
And in this massacre against the Alevite in Maraş, which took 1 week, 120 people were killed, and over 200 houses belonging to the Alevites were just burned. Over 100 of workplace were just destroyed.
Şırnak'ın Uludere ilçesi Roboski köyünde de 28 Aralık 2011'de gece Irak sınırından köylüler geçerken üzerlerine bombalar yağdırıldı ve bu grupta çocukların da olduğu 34 kişi hayatını kaybetti.
Also in Şırnak, in the province of Uludere, in the village Roboski, on the 28th of December 2011, in the night, Kurdish villagers who came from the border of Iraq were bombed from helicopters. And there were also a group, there were also children within that group, and in total 34 people lost their lives there.
Ülkemiz hapishanelerinde bu yıl 20 Kasım'dan 20 Aralık'a kadar 7 tutsak hayatını kaybetti.
Also in the prisons in our country in this year, between 20 of November and 20 of December, 7 prisoners lost their lives.
Bu tutsaklardan biri olan Garibe Gezer, cinsel saldırıya uğradığına dair mektup yazmıştı dışarıya ve bu mektuptan sonra hücresinde intihar ettiği iddia edildi. Garibe Gezer bir ayda katledilen, hapishanede ölen 7 tutsaktan sadece birisiydi.
And one of those 7 only one of these 7 prisoners was Garibe Gezer, who had written in a letter that she had was sexually harassed, and then it was said that she had committed suicide in her cell. So she was only one of those 7 prisoners died in the last week, in this last period.
Şu anda ülkemiz hapishanelerinde 600'den fazla ölüm sınırına gelmiş hasta tutsak var ve bir yılda 300 tutsak hastalıktan dolayı hapishanelerde ölüyor.
So there were over 600 of prisoners with serious ill in the prisons in Turkey. And only within 1 year, only 300 prisoners die from the illnesses, from the diseases in the Turkish prisons.
19 Aralık, Maraş, Roboski katliamlarının sorumluları hala cezalandırılmadı. Katliamların sorumluları yargılanmalı ve cezalandırılmalıdır.
So yet those committing the massacres, who are responsible for the massacres of the 19th of December of Maraş and of Roboski, still weren't punished. So they should be tried and punished for these crimes.
Hapishanelerde ölüm riski taşıyan hasta tutsak devrimci Ali Osman Kose ve tüm hasta tutsaklara özgürlük, grup yoruma ve halkın avukatlarına özgürlük.
We want the freedom for the revolutionary ill prisoner who has the risk of death now to be released, as well as the people's lawyers, as well as Grup Yorum and the other political prisoners and ill prisoners.
Ve ayrıca George Abdallah, Muima Abu Jamal ve tüm dünyadaki devrimci tutsaklara özgürlük diliyorum.
Ahead of that, I want freedom for all the revolutionary political prisoners in the world, starting from George Abdallah to Mumi Abu Jamal and all other revolutionaries in the world.
Şu anda Türkiye hapishanelerinde ölüm orucunda olan öğretmen Sibel Balaç ve devrimci tutsak Gökhan Yıldırım'ın süresiz açlık grevinde olan Gökhan Yıldırım'ın talepleri kabul edilsin.
So we want that the demands are being met from Sibel Balaç, who is in the death fast resistance in this moment in Turkey, as well as in the unlimited hunger strike, another prisoner, Gökhan Yıldırım.
Ve benim hakkımda haksız yere verilen 2 ağırlaştırılmış müebbet hapis cezası bozulsun, ev hapsim kaldırılsın ve işkenceciler cezalandırılsın.
And I want as well that for me in my case that my double life sentence is being lifted, that the unjust life sentence is lifted, and also my house arrest, and that the torturers are being punished for that.
Son olarak tüm katılımcılara devrimci selamlarımı gönderiyorum. Yaşasın internasyonalist dayanışma, direne direne kazanacağız diyor ve teşekkür ediyorum.
And finally, I want to send my revolutionary greetings to all of the participants and of all those who participate in that program. And I say, long live international solidarity. We are resisting, we will win. I want to embrace you. I want to thank all of you.
We have the last participation of Ayten Öztürk, that she spoke also about the Roboski massacre and the Maraş massacre, and also mentioned the situation about political prisoners now in Turkey. She spoke about Garibe Gezer, that is it was a Kurdish political prisoner that an activist that has wrote a letter that 4 months before was raped inside the prison. She was also in isolation, and she spoke also about the death fast resistance. We will tell some things after to close. We will go to hear again the last song of Grup Yorum, and after we will finish our program. Give the floor to Grup Yorum and to Eksan Tiperli to tell us the last song of our conference.
Sesim geliyor. Tekrar merhaba. Program kapanırken son şarkımızı söyleyeceğiz. Bu şarkı Büyük Direniş'in 122 şehidi için Grup Yorum tarafından bestelenmiş bir ağıt marş ve bütün yoldaşlarımız gibi ben çok kısa bir şey söylemek istiyorum. We are right and we will win. Toprağın beş apağı, o şafakların ışığı bize kimden armağan, gülümseyen gözlerle, o gözlerle yüreğimizi harmanlayan kahraman 122 can geliyor elinde, telaşsız kaygısız, yar elinden tutar gibi sevdanıza andolsun sizlere sunacağız tertemiz sabahları, özgür bir vatanı. Hani suskun geceleri, o geceleri, karanlıkları dağıtan var ya, o en güzel türküleri, o türküleri and içer gibi haykıran var ya, kahraman 122 can gülüyor elinde, telaşsız kaygısız, yarinden tutar gibi sevdanıza andolsun sizlere sunacağız tertemiz sabahları, özgür bir vatan.
Thank you very much. Our conference for the massacre of 1922 of December of 2000 came in the end. Thank all the people that view our conference in live. Thank all the participants, really, all the eyewitnesses, Group Yorum, all the international committees, the committee from USA, the committee from George Ibrahim Abdallah, with the committee from Ireland, all the participation, the Peruvian, the Chilean, all the comrades that give this strength to this conference. We will mention again that now in Turkey it still continue death-fast resistance. Start from Sibel Balac in 19th of December, the teacher that fired from her job. Also continue by hunger strike to solidarity with her by Gökhan Gülderim. We tell again their demands must immediately accepted. Also, we call for freedom for all sick political prisoners like Ali Osman Kose. We call all for liberation for political prisoners, for liberation for George Ibrahim Abdallah, Mumia Abu Jamal, and all the political prisoners all over in the world that fight against isolation, fighting against imperialism and fascism. Once again, we will never forget the martyrs of resistance. We will never forget the 122 martyrs of death-fast resistance of 2007 in Turkey. We will never forget the 28 political prisoners that fell martyred in massacre of 22 of December. We call all the people, the international solidarity is the weapon of the people, because to fight against imperialism, fascism, and oligarchism of the Kremlin is a duty. Thank you that you make all this great work all together with our participants to extend the international solidarity. Thank again everybody to see our conference. Thank you very much. We are right and we will win. Thank you.
Cezaevlerindeki bazı teröristler etkileri altına aldıkları gençleri ölüm orucuna sürükleyerek F tipine geçişi engellemeye uğraşmaktadırlar.
Gençlerimiz onların eline düşmüştür. Devlet şimdi gençlerimizi kurtarmak istemektedir. Böyle bir şey olamaz, devlet böyle bir şey yapamaz, devlet oraya hayat kurtarmak için girmiştir.
Silahlı mücadeleye mecbur kalınmaması için haftalardır büyük sabır gösteriyor.
olmadı. 6 kişi diri diri yaktılar. Diri diri yaktılar. 6 bayan yakılarak öldürüldü.
Kalleşçe bizi öldürdüler. Onlar canı var.
Tecrit ölümdür, kabul etmiyoruz diyerek ölümü yere serenlerin faşizme karşı direniş meşalesinin aydınlığıdır 19-22 Aralık 2000 tarihi. 19 Aralık 2000 sabahı Türkiye hapishaneler saldırısıyla güne başladı. 20 hapishanede aynı anda daha sabahın ilk saatlerinde Hayata Dönüş isimli katliam başlatıldı. Adına Hayata Dönüş dediler ve katlettiler. Diri diri yakarak katlettiler. Diri diri yaktılar. 28 devrimci katledildi. Merhaba zafer, hoş geldin ölüm diyerek karşıladı onlar ölümü. 19 Aralık saldırısı AKP ile sürüyor. Direniş bayrağı bugün de bizim ellerimizde. Tutuşan bedenlerimizle yazılıyor tarih. Tutuşan bedenlerimizle yırtıyoruz zulmün karanlığını. Tutuşan bedenlerimiz Türkiye gerçeğini aydınlatıyor. Tutuşan bedenlerimiz öğretiyor dünyanın Türkiye'sindeki mücadele gerçeğini. 19 Aralık bu tarih Türkiye tarihinin dönüm noktalarından biri olarak anılacak hep. Emperyalizm ve oligarşi ya ölüm ya düşünce değişikliği dedi. Ölümle teslim almaya çalıştı devrimciliği. Ölümlerimizle meydan okuduk emperyalizme ve işbirlikçisi oligarşiye. Ya öleceğiz ya düşüncelerimizle yaşayacağız dedik.